And we welcome you inside Mahalik Thompson Stadium on the campus of Slippery Rock University. As today, CUTV is getting set to bring you this homecoming edition for Slippery Rock of the matchup between the California Vulcans and the Rock of Slippery Rock. My name is Damon Matson. Alongside me is Matt Hagee. And Matt, these two teams have had a pretty good start to their seasons, and both are coming off of wins last week.
Both 4-1, and both coming off, you're right, a pretty big wins for both schools. We'll start with Cal. They were down 21-3 to upstart Seton Hill Griffins 2 weeks ago that knocked off Slippery Rock in Greensburg, but California came away with a 38-34 win. As for Slippery Rock, they needed to rebound from that loss to Seton Hill. They had to go up to Erie to face Gannon, the PSAC West preseason favorite, and they beat them 41-14. Pretty much saying to the entire PSAC, we may have fell back 1 week, but we're here to stay and we're not going anywhere.
And we talked about it all throughout the week. It's always been said as well. These two teams have quite the rivalry going, and over the years, it has continued to build up to this point.
And last year, Cal stopped a 3-game losing streak in the series on Cal's homecoming. 48-26, a pretty convincing fashion. The California's offense went off in that game. Slippery Rock, 5 turnovers. That's what cost them the game. Slippery Rock tried to come back, but those turnovers just killed them. But still in the overall series, they've been playing since 1919. Slippery Rock 45-29 to 3 ties in the series. So Slippery Rock still sizable margin in the series, dates back to a 14-game winning streak in the series that went from 1990 to 2003. So Cal's kind of started to take it back when the new millennium hit, but still Slippery Rock leads the way in the series. But California has not won in this stadium since 2009. 2 straight meetings to Slippery Rock, and California's offense has not gotten going in the last 2 games here at this stadium.
And after that victory last year for the Vulcans homecoming, it will be interesting to see how the Rock respond now here on their homecoming this year after taking that loss last year. And just taking a quick look at the PSAC standings before we get started for this game. California tied for first. They are 2-0 in the PSAC and 4-1 overall. The Rock as well is 4-1 overall. But with that loss last week, they are now 1-1 in PSAC play, putting them tied for 4th in the PSAC Western Division. And in the East, Bloomsburg and Kutztown and Westchester all tied atop the top of the Eastern standings at 3-2 overall and 2-0 in the PSAC. And we're getting set here now for this game to get underway. The Vulcans are going to kick it off to the Rock as the Rock is getting back to receive. Jameer Dutrell is one of the men in the back ready to get their football for the Rock here to kick this game off.
And who could forget William Brazil, who's had a nice start to his Vulcan career. His first full-time season kicking in Division II. He transferred from JUCO College, but there's a lot of people here today, Damon. I'm hyped. The ball fell off the tee there. Maybe always a little windy up here in Mahalik Thompson Stadium, but you can just hear the student section now for Slippery Rock. They've come out in full force. One of the best venues for a football game. We're going to have some fun today.
And the energy is going to be all around this stadium today. And the anticipation as the kickoff is now away. Brazil kicks it off. This one goes down. It is picked up by the Rock. And Scales gets knocked down really quickly right there by the Vulcans. And their special team sets up their defense nicely as the Rock is going to be at the 21-yard line.
Diamond Thomas there with a nice special teams tackle. And now we get to see Slippery Rock's offense come here, led by their transfer from Youngstown State. They just got this season. Dante Nania. He's from Hempfield High School in Greensburg, which is close to Cal. It's his first, and it'll probably be his only season as Slippery Rock's quarterback, but you got to watch also Shamar Green in the backfield, one of the PSAC's best, coming off an injury this season.
And Slippery Rock starting out of the shotgun so far. 2 receivers split to both sides of the field. Nania is going to fake the handoff. Rolls out, sends it, that is caught over on the far sideline, and that is caught by Scales, and it looks like he's going to get about 4 or 5 yards on the play.
Drew Scales, one of Nania's best receivers on the field. You got to watch where Scales is at all times. He's very dynamic. And this Slippery Rock offense is a very high-tempo offense. They're already back to the line.
And they're in the hurry-up offense so far. Nania again out of the shotgun. This time he is going to hand it off. Green takes it up the middle, but he goes nowhere. The Vulcans defense right on top of that play.
Jordan Lardani with a great stop on Green. Looks like they were ready. They were expecting a run there, but Shamar Green had 100 yards last week against Gannon. And talking to Coach Mahalik for Slippery Rock this week, he loves, Green makes that offense go. He is the offense, and when Green goes, Slippery Rock's offense goes. Big third down here.
As a big third down, the Vulcans going to try to make the stop right here. Slippery Rock did a hard count right there, seeing where the Vulcans were going to go. Now they switch it up a little bit. Green goes over to the right side. Nania throws this one over onto the far side of the field once again, and that is going to be a first down. And that one was complete to number 3, Leroy McLean.
And I think Slippery Rock's kind of seen what California struggled with those short intermediate passes against Seton Hill, and they already started with first 2 of them.
And Slippery Rock staying out of the shotgun right here. They'll hand off to Green once again. Oh, no, actually, that time was Nania taking the carry. And he's only going to get about a couple yards on that play. So good fake right there, though, for Slippery Rock.
It was. Devontae Suber made a better read on that to make him gain nothing. Second down and 10, 13:35 left here in the first quarter.
And the clock is going to continue to run. Slippery Rock's been able to burn some clock. This time out of the shotgun again. They hand it off to Green. He finds a big hole. He goes right up the middle, runs over a defender, and he is down to about the 46-yard line as the Rock now into the Vulcans territory.
That's a little what Shamar Green brings to the table. Just get him a hole open, cuts it right up the field. California's run defense has been pretty good so far this season, but this is probably the best running back they faced all season so far.
It'll be a test today. Out of the shotgun once again. They hand off to Green. Once again, he goes up the middle, more towards the right side this time. And he only gets a couple of yards on the play. And we're already seeing a little bit of chippiness on that play in the middle of the field right there.
Oh, I mean, these are 2 rivals. You're going to expect that. These 2 teams don't like each other. This is basic. This is one of the best rivalries in the PSAC. Cal's got it next week with IUP as well.
Now 12:50 remaining on the clock. This time, Nani is going to keep it on the fake handoff. He gets a slot receiver right there. That is number 7, Jameer Dutrell. He gets taken all the way down to the 5-yard line. Just a quick slant play, and Slippery Rock off of 2 big plays, already down inside the 10.
I mean, my goodness, he just shot right up the seam like a cannonball. And Chaz Veal saved the touchdown there, but Slippery Rock's right in business. That team speed that Slippery Rock brings to the table is just really tough to stop.
And they run all the way down the field and get set up once again. This time they're going out a little bit more of a pistol formation. A couple running backs in the backfield. Nani is going to give it off. It's going to give it to number 33. Is into the end zone for Slippery Rock. That is a touchdown, and that is Julian Durden, the running back, getting the touchdown right there for Slippery Rock, and they get on the board quick.
And Julian Durden's the guy that took over for Shamar Green when he missed 2 games this season. As we hear a cannon from the other side of the field. I was ready for it this time. In pregame, I almost fell out of my seat. But great drive there by Slippery Rock. They make a statement on their first drive of the game. And Cal's defense didn't look so good in the first half last week, and they're off to a good start now.
And Mike Waynoskis is getting ready to try to get the point after here for Slippery Rock. And they're going to snap the ball. The kick is up. And it is good. So Slippery Rock in less than 3 minutes, 12:23 is left on the clock. They get the first score of the game against the Vulcans.
I mean, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do as a team, especially at home. You got to make a statement, get the crowd in the game. It's a big crowd today, like I mentioned before, and there's just a couple exciting plays. I think Slippery Rock and Coach Mahalik did their homework on this Cal defense with that slot right up the middle there with Dutrail. I mean, he just almost ran away. I'm surprised it wasn't a touchdown, but this Cal defense, they battered from last week. They needed to make some adjustments because with Seton Hill, but they're going to have a long day with this Slippery Rock offense. But last year, remember, it took Slippery Rock a while to get a touchdown late in the second quarter. Cal's defense stood tall, especially in the first part of the game right here, but it's just something in the recent meetings here, the life normally gets sucked out of the Vulcans, but it's only the first drive. They have a lot of time to adjust, but that's where the true mental of this team is. Now we get to see what they can do on offense here. On offense, that if it picks up from the second half, it's going to be fun to watch.
And the Vulcans offense did have a beautiful game in the back half of their last matchup against Seton Hill, so we'll see if they can just kick this game off with that high-powered, high-tempo offense. And Andrew Huska this time is going to be setting up for the kickoff to kick it off for the Rock.
And for California, they're going to have Jimmy Wheeler and Chaz Veal back to return. And Jimmy Wheeler, can't say enough of what he's done as a freshman. He's been one of the more dynamic players we've seen in years for the Vulcans. But he hasn't had a touchdown yet overall, but you got to believe it's going to come soon.
And he's had quite a few good returns so far this season. He's going to get this kickoff at about the 7-yard line. He takes it up the middle. And this time he's not going to get a very big return, but he does set the Vulcans up to about the 27-yard line.
Not a bad return out of Jimmy Wheeler, but a lot of he's had about like 3 or 4 kicks that have not really worked out in their favor, and they've always had a penalty. Like, he's had a couple drives that could have started for California, but he's always something that's been called back. He had a big one that stuck last week, And now you get to see right here, they'll start with John Franklin in the backfield here and Derek Fiore with Harris.
And Fiore and Franklin, the two feature backs on this Vulcans offense, with James Harris back in the backfield. And the Vulcans as well, going to start off a shotgun, 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. And they're going to send Gary Brown in motion. Harris hands it off to Franklin, and he goes up the middle for just about 2 yards. So modest start to the drive right here for the Vulcans.
Yeah, modest start. Slipper Rock there. Cody Conway there on the stop for the Rock there. Wrapped Franklin up pretty much immediately after a yard gain. But we've seen California's running game. I think it's been the best in a couple years. And it looked like it wasn't going to be a strength with Nick Grissom, but now Franklin's carrying the load so far.
And again, the Vulcans going out of the shotgun. They're going to hand it off to Franklin. He's going to go over towards the far side of the field this time. And again, pick up just about 2 or 3. So just like the Rock started out, the Vulcans are going to have a 3rd down on their first couple plays.
Yeah, they go with the run. So you think they'd pass here on 3rd down, but Marcus Martin there on the stop for Slipper Rock, number 44. We're going to be calling his name a lot, Damon. Last year as a freshman, 16 sacks. New Slippery Rock record. This kid, he's only a sophomore, and that's just scary. The Vulcans have to deal with him for the next 2 years, including today.
Now Harris getting the ball out of the shotgun. He's going to throw it over the middle of the field. That one is caught right there. And falling down with the catch is the tight end, Desmond Green. And the Vulcans going to pick up a 1st down.
It's a big 1st down for California, but Harris finding Green over the middle. Green's pretty elusive as a tight end. He's one of the more elusive tight ends. Anyone remember him from watching him at high school at Clairton? He won a couple state championships with them. He's part of that long winning streak as a quarterback.
Now the Vulcans going out, somewhat of a pistol formation here. Harris again with Fiore and Franklin in the backfield. He's going to fake the handoff. A couple of Rock defenders going at him. He gets hit, and this one is caught right there. I think that was pulled out of the hands of the defender right there. That was Tom Green for the Vulcans making the reception.
Damon, I thought that was going the other way. I thought the Rock defender had it on that one, but how about the strength of Tom Green? He's not even a starting wide receiver, but it looks like this one's going to be coming back.
And it looks like it is.
Very late penalty flag. I didn't even see it.
No, that one is actually going to be called incomplete,
okay.
They're going to say right there. Both players did not get their hands on the ball before it fell to the ground. So what almost was a heck of a play is going to be taken back. So it is going to be 2nd down here for the Vulcans.
A big play there by Tom Green to wrestle that away there from John Conglos. That would have been a pick. I thought that was going to be an interception.
Now the Vulcans once again, they're going to hand it off this time. And Franklin is going to be stuffed in the middle of the field. He does not want to go down, and the Rock's defenders trying to make sure he does go down.
Oh, yeah, he keeps fighting like that, or he's going to get a rude welcome to the turf. I saw Titus Howard in there. Titus Howard used to play at Pitt. He was recruited by Pitt, then he just transferred from Pitt to Slippery Rock. He's another former Clairton Bear leading the defense.
So another crucial 3rd down right here for the Vulcans. 10:14 left on the clock. It's going to be 3rd and 3 right here. Or 3rd and 7, my apologies. I read the scoreboard wrong on that one. Vulcans out of the shotgun once again. Harris back to pass. Looks to the near side of the field. He's going to find a wide open receiver. That is Luke Smorey. And he's going to fall down just about the 38-yard line for a 1st down.
Wow, no one was covering Luke Smorey. Luke Smorey was out there by himself, and he just tiptoed his way to the 1st down there. That was really surprising. He just let credit Smorey for getting on the flat and basically go uncovered.
And the Vulcans now trying to use a little bit of a hurry up, just like Slippery Rock did to start their drive. And so far it's working. They're into Slippery Rock territory. Harris again faking the handoff. He's going to roll over to the other side. This one is to Green once again. And he is going to go down at about the 26-yard line. And they're going to move the sticks again. The Vulcans just going down the field.
And that's one of California's we see that a lot. We see a nice play action rollout, hit the fullback, hit the tight end. Harris hits the tight end there. And California's drive is moving along in the Slippery Rock territory, looking to respond. But these two offenses, very high tempo. You mentioned there's going to be a lot of plays run today between these two.
This time, Harris is going to hand it off. This one's going to go to Wheeler. He uses his speed, gets to the far side of the field, running along the hash marks, and he is going to get wrecked out of bounds. That's going to be a late hit penalty as we see the flag go out. So the Vulcans going to gain a couple of extra yards right there.
And we get to see Jimmy Wheeler. That again, that shows his elusiveness. He got hit out of bounds hard by Derek Fulmore, this is pretty interesting. Both of them played at the same high school together. Those are former high school teammates. And it'll be dead ball, personal foul. That's an easy call. But it's interesting to see. It's like a former teammate saying, hey, remember me? But you can't take penalties like that if you're Slippery Rock. Now Cal's going to be set up 1st and goal here.
That is going to be a little bit of an aid right there to the Vulcans, and it's going to be interesting to see which team makes the most mistakes. I think those penalties like that is what might cost the team the victory here in this one.
And that's what California is. That's what's been hurting them over the past couple of weeks. Is the late hits, his personal fouls, but so far, right now, Slippery Rock's got the one.
And for a second there, it looked like Harris was going to line up out of a strong formation, a broken eye formation. But this time, he's going to send it right back into that pistol formation. The Vulcans run 2 receivers to the near side. He's going to hand it off. Franklin trying to follow his blockers, but the Rock's defense disrupts that, and it looks like he's going to either have no gain or a loss of a yard.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to give him anything on that one, but they tried to follow his blockers, and the Rock defense just came crashing down on him. Looks like they'll give Martin the stop, and Marcus Martin had a somewhat slow start for his standards for the start of the season, but 2 weeks ago in his performance, actually last week against Gannon, he was Defensive Player of the Week, so we're starting to see what Martin brings to the table.
2nd down and 8, clock down to almost 8:15 left in the first quarter. Harris is going to get this, throw the ball over towards Green. He gets his fingers on it, but it falls incomplete. Lucky that was not intercepted right there.
Yeah, he almost slapped it right to the Slippery Rock defender, Deontay Flemings there. But that's tough because I think Harris threw a missile to Green. I don't think Green expected the speed of that ball that was coming to him. It went out of his fingertips there. If he would have caught that, he would have fell in for a touchdown. That's huge.
And another 3rd down here on this drive, 3rd and goal. Vulcans don't want to make any mistakes and have a turnover right here. 2 receivers on the near side, 1 to the far side. Franklin in the backfield. Harris going to throw over to that far side. It is incomplete, but they're going to call the flag right there, and that is going to be pass interference. Oh, no, it might be holding right here on Slippery Rock.
It's probably most likely going to be on Titus Howard again with the strong coverage on Kawan Scott. Scott tried to one-arm that, but he was being completely blanketed and held by Titus Howard.
And that'll set the Vulcans up half the distance to the goal, and they get the automatic 1st down. And you're right, Scott looked like he was having one of his arms just held back right there, so he had no way of catching that football.
And he almost made the catch there, too. That's just great play by Scott to keep it together here. But now watch John Franklin. John Franklin has scored in every game so far for the Vulcans this season. Let's see if it continues.
And he's usually had the first touchdowns in a lot of those. He's going to get the ball, cut up the middle. He's going to gain a couple of yards, but he is going to be about a yard short of the end zone.
I think they're going to spot it at the 2 here. They'll give him a gain of 2, but it just sets them up here. It looks like they're going to keep Franklin in the game, same formation. They're just going to go away here. California's red zone offense has been pretty successful for the most part this season.
And Franklin is still in the backfield. Typical set we've seen from the Vulcans so far today. 7:40 left on the clock. Harris handing it off to Franklin again. He goes up the middle and he falls into the end zone, and the Vulcans answer with their own touchdown.
And touchdown number 9 on the season for John Franklin. He keeps the streak going. He's 6 for 6 in games so far this season, but that's a response drive by California, battered by Slippery Rock's offense on the first drive. A lot of speed, a lot of energy, but California comes right back, methodically moving down the field, using 2 Slippery Rock penalties to get that touchdown.
And we see Brazil now going to line up for the extra point attempt. The kick is up, and it is good. So the Vulcans have tied this thing up at 7, and with 7:34 left on the clock. And Matt, you actually mentioned it. We saw the 2 different styles of offenses so far. The Vulcans seem to be more methodical. They wasted time. They just were able to get those 1st down conversions. But yet Slippery Rock is using that hurry-up offense, and they're just mowing down the field with very little time.
That's what they do. Slippery Rock, I think, has led the PSAC in running the most plays per game. How many years now? That's the type of offense that Coach Mahalik always wants, and it's successful. It keeps the defense guessing. California's defense doesn't really work well against these high-powered offenses with a dual-threat quarterback, but so are they. Cal is also a high-tempo offense, but you see there, they do take a little bit more time. They're not like lightning quick like Slippery Rock is. We're going to see that more again, but it's just when you get these 2 offenses like this, it's fun to watch, but Slippery Rock's defense, much better game against Gannon. Gannon's offense is completely struggling, but they needed that type of game because Seton Hill's offense took their defense out to lunch. Christian Strong in that game, actually back-to-back games for the Seton Hill quarterback against Cal and Slippery Rock, over 450 yards passing.
And we'll see now what the Rock decides to do on their next drive, as they are going to have to try to answer and get back into the lead. Brazil, after the extra point, going to line up for the kickoff right here. And the kick is going to go away, and here come The Rock's going to try to take it back now. This is Drew Scales again getting the ball at the end zone. And he's going to go over towards the near side of the field. Thought about going up the middle, but he didn't. And he's going to run out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. So just about as good as a touchback right there for the Rock.
And that's a nice coverage there for Cal. They closed in pretty quick and forced Scales out of bounds. No late hit out of bounds here. But I look for Slippery Rock here. You saw Shamar Green get a big run. It took Shamar Green a while. He only had 55 yards against Cal last season, and right there he got about 20 in one clip. So I think Slippery Rock, we're going to see a little bit more of Shamar Green here, I would think. Actually, they're going to start with Durden. But Slippery Rock's offense, I mean, Durden has over 450 yards so far this season. It's a big 1-2 combination for Slippery Rock.
And Durden scored the touchdown on that very last play on that last drive for the Rocks to get them on the board to start this one. And now Nania faked the snap. He's going to hand it off. And actually, he's going to keep it again. Once again, he's going to go towards the near side of the field. And he gets about 5 yards on the play. And I'll tell you what, from our vantage point, that fake is really working out well for the Rock. They're even fooling us up here.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, that happens a lot. But what Nania can do, he's just so quick. He's so elusive. People forget he had at Hempfield High School team winning. Ever since he left, they haven't been the same.
This one's going to be a fake handoff this time. They're going to use that same slot play. Right up the middle goes Dutrell. He's going to use his speed, and he is going to blaze his trail into the end zone. 2 plays, and the Rock has scored once again on the Vulcans.
That same play, right up the middle. And that time, that's what I thought was going to happen the first time they ran that play. But I think at Slippery Rock, they found this. They run that play all day long because California can't stop that. They can't stop his speed. But that is one of the longest plays. That's the longest play this California defense has given up all season. Normally, we don't see California give up the huge home run hitting plays, but Slippery Rock just came right here. We're going to be in for a shootout today.
And it was amazing seeing Dutrell's speed on that play as he just burned his way all the way down to the end zone past all of the defenders. And now Wanaskis going to get the extra point attempt up, and it is good. So Slippery Rock has answered once again. It is now 14-7, 6:52 still left in the first quarter.
Yeah, and it's 6:52. It's decent. It looks like it might come down to which defense can force the turnover or get the stop, because these offenses look so good so far with Slippery Rock with that seam passing, using the speed up the middle right there. California, they need to cover it. They know Slippery Rock should just hammer them with Dutrell. We've seen this Cal defense, even dating back to last year, there's always that one guy, that one receiver that always burns them. Remember Mercyhurst, it was Stephen Yarborough. For our IUP, it was Drew Carswell last season. Slippery Rock's seen something. They're going to keep finding him and keep feeding Dutrell the ball with that seam up the middle there, because they know he can outrun the entire defense.
Now, if you're the Vulcans defense, the next time you see Slippery Rock's offense on the field, do you think, Matt, they got to try to prevent the big home run play? Sure, you may give those intermediate passes. You may give them 5 or 6 yards. Do you think you got to try to stop that big play moving forward?
But see, that was even supposed to be I was set up to be in a designed intermediate pass, and Dutrell still ran down the field. They just need to work over the middle. California has always struggled with over the middle. Remember last year, they couldn't cover the tight ends for the last part of the season. They've always struggled over the middle, and it always depends how are they going to change it, how it's going to change. It's not changed. It's the same type of defense. They just need to watch over the middle, and maybe put some more guys, more linebackers in the middle of the field watching them.
For the time being, it's going to be the Vulcans offense now with the job to answer that last touchdown by the Rock. As Andrew Huskell once again going to line up deep, and he is going to kick this one off. Now it's the Vulcans' chance. Wheeler's going to get it back near the end zone, taking it from about the 5-yard line. And he pushes his way forward with the pile to about the 22, and now the Vulcans offense gets a chance.
I saw Wheeler, I thought he was stopped short of the 20, but he still found his way to get a couple extra yards there. But your California's offense, we talked about the defense would be tired, but they're out there for what, 2 plays? 2 plays. Now the offense is just right back on the field, man. It keeps them, they're not rusty, they're still fresh. And you start to see Harris, what he can do. They started to get the running game going a little bit at the end there, but so far, Harris has been pretty accurate with the exception of that one pass that was almost intercepted.
And that pass was just a little bit too quick, I think, for Desmond Green to make the catch. Now we see Franklin Fiore in the backfield on a couple of sidecars, but they're going to hand this one off right here. It's going to go to Oh, actually, this is a pass right here, and it's going to be caught. I was faked out once again, and that's Kawan Scott making the catch, going down to the 10-yard line, and the Vulcans with a big play answering back against the Rock.
And we saw Kawan Scott last week and Harris finally get that connection going again, but that's what Harris loves to do, that play action, finds and just tosses it up to Kawan Scott with his speed, hit him right on the money, and Titus Howard just put Scott out and saved the touchdown again. Kawan Scott and Harris are on the same page for the first time this season. Started last week, and it continued right there.
And Kawan Scott, one of the big play threats that the Vulcans use on those home run type passes. Now out of the shotgun once again, Harris. With 3 sidecars in the backfield, he's going to hand this one off. Wheeler is going to be stuffed in the backfield, and he's going to lose quite a bit of yards after that long pass play. The Vulcans going to get backed up.
Bob Vernick there on the stop, wrapping up Wheeler, but Wheeler tried to find a lane, find something, but he had no success at all. That was not going to work. When California tried to stretch the Rock defense out, the Rock's defense has come crashing out. They're not getting the run blocking.
Just past the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. Franklin is a sidecar with Harris in the backfield. 3 receivers spread out to the far side. Harris looks that way. He's going to throw. He's going to go over to Scott. He high steps his way, almost gets to the end zone, and he's going to get down to about the 1 or 2 yard line right here.
A nice elusive play there for Scott, getting to about the, looks like they'll spot it at the 2 yard line here. So it'll call it at the 3. So it is 3rd and goal. So California has to score here.
Now we see Luke Smorey running off the field. The Vulcans are going to take their time and actually go back into a huddle here.
I think they're going to try to. They sent McCauley out the fullback here, so I expect they're going to try to do something, maybe do a rollout or something. But don't forget, watch the bootleg. Harris isn't the fastest quarterback, but if they could fake out Slippery Rock's defense, Harris could sneak it in himself.
And McCauley and Franklin are in the backfield, so this could be a play action or a run play. They do. Harris does keep it. He's going to run over. He's going to lose the ball and fall back on it. And that almost was a tragic mistake for the Vulcans as Harris lost it, got back on it, and the Vulcans now still have an opportunity on 3rd down.
Well, that was 3rd down, but Harris, that was the bootleg. That's what I was expecting there, and Harris made the first man miss. I thought, hey, maybe he can get it in here, but yeah, that slipped, that fumbled the ball there. That could have been even worse than it was. It killed the play. Now they're going to send William Brazil out here for the field goal.
And Brazil, this is almost an extra point attempt for the most part, so the Vulcans are just going to try to take the points right here if they can get them. Brazil is going to hit a line drive low, and it is no good as he kicked it off to the left.
That looked terrible from it went off his foot. But you see, that hurts. They needed points on that drive because the way Slippery Rock's offense has been working so far, Cal's defense has no answer for him. That's enormous. It's like, okay, well, I mean, you failed in the red zone, but you have to come away with points in some way, shape, or form there. And they didn't. They had an opportunity to. They got to the 3 yard line, but that first down run with Wheeler set them back about like 5 yards, and they couldn't recover from that.
So that'll be now a turnover on downs, and Slippery Rock's offense, they've had a couple of great drives to start this game. The Vulcans defense gonna have to be stout on this one. Now Nania gets the snap. He's gonna hand it off to Green as he gets stuffed. Only about 3 yards on the play. So other than that one big play, the Vulcans defense doing a good job against the run game.
Yeah, except for that one run, they've been holding Green pretty well. But Slippery Rock, they're definitely still a pass-first team and just hit Green up the middle with the run play. But then you can see Nania back with the ball, and just always got to watch him. I got to keep a spy on him.
3 receivers out towards the far side. They're going to hand it off once again though to Green, and he's going to go straight ahead to about the 28-yard line. And he is still just short of the first down, so it'll be a 3rd down.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, it's amazing how Shamar Green, he's only a sophomore when he hit it. He's still a junior now, and he continues to work, but he sets him up 3rd and manageable. We haven't really seen him get except for the exception of the one run right here. I could see maybe Nania keeps it himself here and tries to get the first down.
Keep an eye on Dutrell as well, as he's had those 2 big plays. Nania's going to throw, and that is going to fall incomplete, so the Vulcans, for the first time today, are going to stop the Rock, and it's going to be a 3 and out.
That's huge. That is an absolutely enormous defensive series because the offense didn't get the points, but they get that Slippery Rock offense. They finally stop him there. He tried to hit Cornelius Ray on the side there, and the pass was already pretty much into the sideline, so for the most part there. So mistake there by Slippery Rock, and now Aaron Terry back to return. And we saw against Shippensburg, the kid's capable of running it back.
And for the first time today, we're going to see a punt in this game with 3:09 left in the first quarter. Andrew Huska going to go try to kick this thing off.
Penalty flag.
We do see a penalty flag come out as that ball falls near the 40. And we'll wait for the referee's call. It looks like it's going to be a false start against the Rock, so it's going to back them up even more.
That's even bigger, so they could re-kick here, and now California can have a chance to get some decent field position here, get some decent starting field position. But you never know what could happen here with that extra attempt. Maybe this could be a bad snap or something, or California gets a great rush on it. You never know with these extra kicks.
And this is a big opportunity for the Vulcans, one way or the other. They could get good field position off the punt. But Slippery Rock has got to make sure they don't make a mistake here. This punt is off.
Good
Terry
kick.
back near the 35 is going to get the ball. He's going to avoid 2 defenders. Shakes his way up to about the 40, and that's where he's going to be taken down. Good job avoiding those first 2, because that could have been a pretty big hit on Terry.
Oh yeah, it's elusiveness by Terry that gets a couple yards out of that one. That was a good kick there by Huska. I thought if he has a short line drive kick here, California is starting in Slippery Rock territory, but still decent field position to start. They'll call it at the 42 at California to start here, but we could see how Harris met Kawan Scott there. Maybe they try to do that play action again and try to hit. We haven't seen Gary Brown yet get any receptions. Maybe try to also look for the bubble screen that ended up in a 40-yard touchdown last week to win the game.
Yeah, Gary Brown is getting played, it looks like, more in zone coverage as well, so we'll see what happens with this. Harris, 3 sidecars in the backfield. He's going to hand it off to Wheeler. Just goes straight ahead with that speed, and he pushes forward for about 8 yards.
Decent gain out of Wheeler there on first down. His best run of the day. Well, second best run of the day. He had that other one that set up the touchdown. But with Wheeler, the WPIAL rushing champion last year, over 2,000 yards rushing, more than anyone in WPIAL. We saw the recruiting list for California in February. He wasn't on it. He was a late addition. He started, and I think California's happy to have him on the team.
He's been a big contributor to this offense, especially with that speed and elusiveness. On the 48, Harris going to throw it over to the far sideline. Once again, Scott with the catch as he falls out of bounds. That's a first down for the Vulcans.
And Slippery Rock's letting Kawan Scott have a lot of cushion there for the passes, and he's able to get in the open field here. We even saw that in the last touchdown. He had open space and got about like 12 yards near the goal line here. So California's offense moving away here, but got to get some points this time.
Well, we've almost seen exclusively out of the shotgun so far for both these teams. Harris is out of it again. He hands it off. Franklin falls forward about 2 or 3 yards on the play. And he's just been their physical back so far. He's just been able to go up the middle and get those couple of yards each time.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I mean, that's what we've been seeing out of him so far all season. I didn't realize coming into this year how physical John Franklin was, but he really bulked up. And his full-time season, he's the power back. He's the guy that can power away. He's not going to hit the big run, but he's that physical presence that can get the much-needed yards for California.
Gary Brown still without a reception. Harris is going to go back to pass. He is hit hard on the play, but it is caught once again by Scott. And it's going to be another first down reception right there as Kawan Scott pretty much carrying the offense right now on these pass plays.
Yeah, they've been putting Alphon Cook on Scott, and again, you can see all the open space he has to make that catch and get a couple yards after that, and that gives him the first down. You can see they're not playing him tight.
That's an interesting point, too. I actually saw Alphon Cook was covering Gary Brown for the most part until they just shifted him over, so I think that's Slippery Rock trying to make an attempt to stop Kawan Scott a little bit. So once again, Harris out of that modified pistol. He hands it off to Franklin. He's going to get a good chunk of yards on this one. Falls forward. It's going to be a decent gain, probably about 6 on the play.
That was a pretty decent gain out of John Franklin there, probably his best run of the day so far. Trying to establish the run, that's what California does a lot in the first half. They run the ball more in the first half than in the second half here. And when you have an arsenal of backs that California has with him, Fiore, and also Wheeler, it's a lot of dimensions that they can run the ball with.
Now they're back near the back near the red zone, I apologize. This one is again going to be handed off. Franklin charges his way forward. He is close to the first down. We'll see if they give it to him on the play. But a good run right there.
Penalty flag in the backfield here, so this might be coming back.
We'll wait to see. It might be a hold actually here on the Vulcans as we're starting to see them. A couple of players are starting to walk backwards. The referee's going to discuss it near the middle of the field And the Vulcans are backing up, so one way or another, this is going to be on the Vulcans. It's going to negate that run.
Yeah, and with 37 seconds left here in the first quarter, that's California's first penalty of the game, and it's the highest penalized team in the PSAC. Only 7 a week ago, so still a bit of improvement, but we've seen a lot of holding penalties out of this team so far this year. We're going to see Derek Fiore come back into the game with to have a 2-back set here to start.
And I'm sure that's something the Vulcans have been working on week to week in practice, trying to reduce the amount of penalties they've been taking over the course of the year. So they're backed up now to the 30-yard line. It is second down. Harris gonna take it. He's gonna go back to pass this time. Over the middle. It is complete, and it is caught by Tom Green. They get some of those yards back after the penalty.
Yeah, nice simple pass over the middle there. Sets them up with a third and manageable. They've been using Tom Green so far a lot in this game. Sorry, he's going to come out here for third down. They'll get Des Green and Smorey here. Maybe they try to roll Des Green back out in the flat again because they had some success with that so far in this game.
And there are a good amount of options, but we're going to see a whistle right here.
I think it's the end of the first quarter.
It was the end of the first quarter as the clock was running after that completion. So after the end of the first quarter, it's 14-7 in favor of the Rock, and the Vulcans. Big third down coming up. They've been methodically working their way down the field once again. They had a bad drive in that last one. They weren't able to get the first down near the goal line, and they had to settle for a field goal attempt that was missed. What do you think the Vulcans have to do? They got to convert this third down. What do you think they're going to go with here?
Well, first, let me say that this is the best California's offense has looked at this stadium in 6 years. But what they got to do is they just got to be clean and not make mistakes. Take what the Rock's defense is giving you. You start seeing the holes. You can see they're having trouble covering Kawan Scott. They're having trouble covering Des Green out in the flat. Go to those guys. Go to those guys until Slippery Rock starts to key in on that, and just go along and not make mistakes. Don't get holding penalties like they did so far the one time on this drive right here. And most importantly, give Harris time to throw. Harris has been, some games, he's been under duress, and this Slippery Rock team hits the quarterback and gets a lot of sacks. They had 7 sacks against Gannon last week.
And we have seen Harris actually take a couple of big hits trying to make those pass attempts so far today. And it's interesting. We haven't seen Gary Brown get a reception yet today. And we've seen Kawan Scott make the big play, and we've seen Franklin and a couple of the other backs, but Gary Brown, he's your deadly weapon that they haven't used yet.
Maybe it's another thing here. Maybe they try to set Brown up here for a screen, try to get him, because when he's in the elusive field, look out.
And now we are getting set to start this second quarter. Now Harris going to get out of the gun. It is thrown over the middle as he is hit once again. Kawan Scott makes the catch, and it is going to be enough for the first down, but once again, Harris taking a big hit.
Yeah, he did, but again, Scott with the other big reception. He's piling up the receptions. We normally don't see Kawan Scott pile up the receptions. Normally we see him have about like 4 or 5 maybe a game, and a lot of them just for those big plays, but they've been using him in the flat more here.
And I'm sure he's actually passed that normal 4 to 5 receptions he's seen so far this season. And he's had a big game thus far. And he's now near the near side of the field. Harris going to hand this one off to Franklin on the far side. And he is stopped by 2 defenders very quickly. As little to no gain at all right there for the Vulcans.
Yeah, I thought Joe Phillips for Slippery Rock was going to wrap Franklin up for a big loss, but he was able to get back to the line of scrimmage for a gain of nothing instead of losing some yards there. Actually, they will say he did lose a yard, so second down and 11.
And the Vulcans don't have to score here. They can still get the first down. It is down near the 5-yard line. And 2 receivers now towards the near side of the field. Scott and Brown. This one, fake handoff. They turn it around. They're going to give it to Scott, wide open once again in that zone coverage. He is working, trying to get
Ball's
the
out.
First down. It is lost. Slippery Rock picks up the fumble. They're going to take it down the field. He's going to try to pick up some defenders, and he is tripped up right there. That was number 7, Desmond Green, making the stop, avoiding a Slippery Rock touchdown on that turnover.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Kawan Scott, again, another reception. This isn't the first time we've seen him lose the ball when he's trying to make some guys miss. The ball just gets punched out there, and Alphon Cook who's been having a rough day so far, Scott gets the fumble return there. For a second, I thought when he cut it, he was going to run it all the way back, but Desmond Green saved the touchdown here. If Cal's defense could get a stop, remember that tackle by Desmond Green.
And the Vulcans defense now tasked again with getting that big stop after the turnover. And here's Nanya going to fake the handoff. He's going to throw it over to his side. It is picked off by the Vulcans right there. That is Aaron Terry getting a turnover of his own, and just like that, the momentum is back on the Vulcan side.
Wow. Are you kidding me with that? Again, I think this is kind of similar back with the Edinburgh. It's happened at Edinburgh. Fumble, and Cal gets the turnover right back. That was a thank you very much there. Aaron Terry, the Tavares Sample was the guy that went out of his hands right in the arms of Aaron Terry, and Terry's thinking, thank you very much for that. That is Aaron Terry's third interception of the season. We've seen him save the Vulcans in 2 games so far, but now he gets the big pick, and he bails California's offense out. Again, Des Green's tackle on that fumble return. That was big.
Huge play right there, and this may not be just a shootout. This may be a battle of which defense gets the more turnovers so far. Now, this one's going to be back to pass. This is the first pass attempt to Brown, and Harris overthrew him as it was way up in the air.
Yeah, there was some miscommunication there. I don't think Gary Brown was expecting Harris to throw it that quick, but that was the first time he's looked at Brown all game, and there was a lot of defenders around. That could have been pretty dangerous.
And that looked like that same bubble screen we saw last week that went for the 40 yards into the end zone to win the game for the Vulcans against Seton Hill. This sets up 2nd down and 10, 13:35 left in the first half. Now Harris gonna hand it off to Franklin. Rolling towards his right, and he is gonna fall forward to about the 46 or 47 yard line.
And he'll set up at about a 3rd down and 9 here. This has been one of the longer 3rd downs we've seen California face. And we got to see what California do. They've been going to Scott a lot here on 3rd down, pretty much mostly the whole game on a lot of plays. But after that fumble, you got to wonder if Scott, if he was shaken by that, he's got to respond right back here. But to get off the players off the schneid is just go back to him. Don't hide from the passes from him. It's having success so far.
And this is Harris going to go back to pass. He's going to go towards Brown on the sideline. He gets his first reception of the day, and it's a big one. They're going to convert that 3rd down, and it's 1st down and 10 into Slippery Rock territory.
And Brown finally delivered there. They looked for him. He had some space again, and Harris found them on the nose, and Brown got that 1 foot down, and that was perfect. That was really, Harris threw that where only Brown could get it, and that's exactly what they needed.
And a big conversion right there. The Vulcans going back into Slippery Rock's territory. They're going to have to try to score here. Back to pass. Harris going for the deep ball down the field. That is over towards Scott, fighting against his defender. It's incomplete, and we're going to see a flag come out. I don't know who this is going to be on. Both players were battling for that football.
Now, Cook got kind of dragged Scott to the ground when he was defending him, so I think so. It will be against Slippery Rock here. It will be against Slippery Rock. So Alphon Cook, who had the fumble, but that was basically a gift right to him. Again, Scott had a step on him, and when Cook tried to catch up, he yanked him to the ground, and that's a no-no, and that it gives California's offense more life.
That was an interesting play to watch, too, because both those players were battling, and I guess in the end, Cook was the one that drug him down to the ground.
Yeah, that's what they called him on. That's what they called him on here, and if California just keeps going back to Scott with that advantage, and Scott, I mean, he's tall. He's the tallest guy on the for the receivers, and Alphon Cook, he's definitely undersized here. I'm actually looking for Cook, so I'm looking for his size. He's actually not on the two-back starter here. Or just kidding, he is 5'9" to 6'4". That's a big disadvantage. Good call on that one.
Now Harris out of the shotgun. He's going to hand this one off to Fiore, getting one of his first carries of the game, and he's only going to get about 1 or 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, Bob Vernick, he's been in the backfield a couple times today so far. That was Fiore's first carry of the game with 12:24 left here in the 2nd quarter. But we haven't seen Jimmy Wheeler be used on this drive yet, and I'm surprised we haven't seen him, because normally they try to integrate Wheeler about as the drive starts going along. Not right away, sometimes. But as the drive goes along, maybe see they can use Fiore here some more, and definitely if they have 3rd down.
And Scott, Smory, and Green are out on the far side of the field. Brown on the near side. They're going to go towards Brown's area. He falls to the ground, They're going to say it was incomplete. He had two defenders all over him. He almost had a hold of that football, but he wasn't able to secure it before it hit the ground.
Wow, credit the effort, though, with Gary Brown. That would have been something if that would have been a touchdown there. Derek Fulmore was the guy that came in at the last second to bail out. Looks like Will Graham that was covering Brown there. But my goodness, that was almost crazy.
And now another long third down here for the Vulcans. It's a 3rd down and 11. And this time the Vulcans only have 3 receivers out, 2 to the far side, 1 to the near side, and 1 sidecar in the backfield. Harris taking the play clock down below 5 seconds. Snap is off, he's gonna throw it over far side, and he overthrows Smorey. And it's gonna fall incomplete, and after the turnover, the Vulcans are gonna face 4th down. It looks like they may go for it.
Oh, it's for it. I think you absolutely go for it. You're in their territory. You're in Slippery Rock's territory. Brazil, he's probably not in his range from where they're at the 29-yard line. But Harris had Smorey open. Smorey had a seam, but he just overthrew him, and Smorey's not going to make a one-handed. He's not Odell Beckham. He's not going to go up there with that one hand. But this is big right here. Look for Harris to maybe see if they can get Fiore here and get him involved on 4th down.
The Falcons lining up almost the same formation. Back to pass. Harris throws it to the sideline. It is caught by Brown, and it is going to be
Oh, you know what? That's a bad spot. Oh, he did not get the spot there. This might be Slippery Rock ball.
And the referees are discussing it as to where it's going to be, and they're going to say a turnover on downs right here. And so the Rockets going to get the football back.
I don't agree with that spot. I thought he got enough for the 1st down there. I couldn't see from the side, but it looked like he leaned out as past the markers, and the Cal crowd here, big Cal crowd here today, not very happy. I don't blame them.
And a few of the fans are lined up right about where the 1st down marker was placed, so they may have had a very decent view compared to us. And a lot of them are saying it was a bad spot, but nonetheless, the Rock capitalizing on avoiding that turnover, and they're going to get their offense back on the field to try to break this thing open just a little bit.
Cal's been in Slippery Rock's territory every single drive, and again, 7 points to show. They got to take advantage of these opportunities they're given to them.
In the last 3 possessions, we've seen turnovers by each team. This time the Vulcans, not a turnover on downs. So Nani is going to hand it off. Green goes up the middle for one of the more modest gains he's had today up the middle for about 4 yards.
And Slippery Rock's really, we haven't seen them use Green a lot here. I think they're going to keep Green in the game here. I'm surprised if they don't go to dirt end some more, especially as the game goes along and they're trying to wear down Cal's defense. He's the big hitter back.
And that's the way you wear down a defense, is running in. Green going up the middle. And this time he's going to go forward for the 1st down. And that time another decent chunk of yards.
And it would be enough for the 1st down there. He just fell ahead forward there. And he's not hitting the big home run. He just going individual, and Slippery Rock already back to the line.
They got 2 receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side. Nania going to hand it off again to Green. He's going to run out to his right. Cut the corner, use his speed. Flips his way over the 1st down marker, and that is a big gain right there on the ground, and Slippery Rock is moving down the field.
Yes, they are, and they're going right to Shamar Green. They're establishing Green on this drive. First time we've really seen them really go to Green a lot, and they're starting to wear down this Vulcan defense.
And this time again, handoff is to Nania, though, is going to keep it this time. Slips down over, and he's going to fall forward. That's still a good gain of about 7 yards on the play.
Yeah, I think the spot they're going to give him 9 on that one. But he fell ahead forward there to get the 1 yard, but he's very shifty.
Yeah, it looks like he fell down just a few yards back. They're going to hand off to Green again. He just pushes his way with a couple of defenders over top for a 1st down.
I think that was actually Durden there. Yeah, it's Durden for 33, but they both have 3s on the uniform. He went right into the pile, so they're both very elusive.
Yeah, Shamar Green is 23, Durden's 33, and then Nani is going to keep it once again. And he cuts his way for about 5 yards, and this offense is just rolling with the high tempo.
Oh yeah, it's good. You can see a lot of California's players' body language, hands on their hips. They're gonna start sending different guys out here. They got Cal on the run here.
And in motion goes Durden. Nania gets the football, fakes the handoff, rolls out to his left. He's gonna bomb it down the field. His receiver looked like he fell down or tripped up right there. That pass was incomplete to Tashawn Tucker. And now for once, the Vulcans defense going to have a little bit of a break here.
Yeah, Tashawn Tucker, I mean, Nania was waiting for him, but Tucker was having some trouble trying to break free of Aaron Terry, and Nania thought he had him with a seam, and he overthrew him. Break for California defense, big third down right here. But as soon as the California offense isn't helping Cal's defense out, it's just not, it's why Slippery Rock's moving the ball pretty well so far this drive.
And it is 3rd and 5, just under the 10-minute mark left here in the first half. Slippery Rock trying to set up. They got 3 receivers spread out to the far side. Nania back to pass. Pressure is there. This time, though, it is caught by Tucker, and it is going to be a first down. And the clock's going to start running again. Slippery Rock's going to keep moving.
And if you don't succeed once, try again. This same guy, he goes right to Tucker. Tucker had his space. He gave him a little bit of a cushion, and he got a first down.
And they're down to the 24-yard line. Nania looking straight over to Tucker once again. He tries to run straight forward. He is hit very hard right there by Aaron Terry, the man that got the interception earlier on.
Yeah, Terry was waiting for him that time and just flattened him like it was a big Mack truck went down on Tucker. It's still a decent game on first down.
This time Nania is going to throw once again over towards the far side. As it spinning out of that tackle right there is Cornelius Ray, who picks up a few yards on that one, but not enough. It's going to be 3rd down.
And we thought we could see Nania actually get the first down on that one, but he's spreading the field. He's hitting a lot of different receivers.
And once again, Slippery Rock hands off to Durden, pushes his way for a few yards, and before we can even talk about the last one, Slippery Rock is on to the next play.
And Aaron Terry has come off the field here. When he made that big stop, he might have accidentally bumped himself with that big hit. So right now he's getting tested out by the he's walking around with the athletic trainers.
Nania back to pass, no pressure at all. He's going to throw it over to number 3, Leroy McLean. He's going towards the corner, and they're going to say he is just short. So Slippery Rock down at the 1-yard line now.
Yeah, he's just got really close. Looked like he needed that extra push. California stood tall right here, but Slippery Rock can break Cal's back early with the touchdown here.
Yeah, this could break this game open. The Vulcans had a couple of opportunities, weren't able to capitalize. Another Rock trying to get that next touchdown on the board. You see Nania shifting the offense right here. 3 sidecars, 1 receiver wide. Nania's going to keep the ball. Rolling over towards the corner. He falls forward, and they're going to say he is in for the touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to do that all the time. He's got the speed. He can just dance himself. He was patient and just basically lunged right into the end zone. Easy 6 for Slippery Rock, and their offense is just clicking all cylinders today.
And a few Vulcans defenders were in the backfield. Looked like they may have had Nania stopped for an actual loss on that one, but he was able to use that elusiveness and get into the end zone. Now we see Huska's going to attempt this extra point this time. And his kick is up, and it is good. So Slippery Rock getting that next score on the board, and they are now up 21-7 with 8:28 left in this first half.
But we saw Cal fall behind by 18, so you can't count this team out at all. We learned that last week. But sometimes Slippery Rock is no Seton Hill. Now, Seton Hill, probably the most improved team other than Clarion so far this season for the PSAC. But this Slippery Rock defense is disciplined. They're more disciplined. They can come with the big stop that Seton Hill could not get last week. California's offense is working this defense. Like I said, they've gotten Slippery Rock's territory every single drive they've had the ball. They have 7 points. Slippery Rock, 21. Every time they went into Cal's territory, they cashed in. That's the difference in this game.
And the Vulcans have had the problems with the turnovers as well. If they can avoid a few of those going down the stretch here, that's also a big factor in trying to make sure that they can get some points on the board.
I mean, this is a must-score drive right here because it's with 8:28 left here in the second quarter. They can give Slippery Rock the ball, so that offense right back. They just got to watch it, especially a defense that looks completely gassed and gashed on that last drive. The offense needs to hold the ball for a couple minutes here. Nice long drive. They need to come away with points.
And keep in mind, the Vulcans do get the ball to start the second half as well. So you score here, keep the score 21-14 at least going into halftime. You could have a chance to tie it up starting the second half. And now Huska and Slippery Rock lining up to kick this one back off to the Vulcans. Field and Wheeler back to return this. Kick is in the air, and it's going to go to Wheeler once again. Out of the end zone this time, a few yards in. He goes up the middle, hit pretty hard as he went up the middle right there, and he gets down at about the 23-yard line.
Yeah, that was Cromwell for Slippery Rock that just almost pretty much clotheslined him to the ground. But you know, see, when Jimmy Wheeler's in the end zone, you know he's not going to take a knee there. He's going to try to get as much yards as possible. And he got, 23 yards to even 24 because he was a couple yards deep in the end zone there. But now California, now they're going to start with Wheeler. They're going to start with Wheeler in the backfield here. Difference from what we've been seeing most of this game so far. They've started Franklin with every drive so far.
Yeah, we didn't see Wheeler very much at all on that last drive, and now he's going to get the opportunity. They're going to hand it off to him. He comes over to his right, and he's going to pick up just about 3 or 4 yards. And now the Vulcans, I think they are going to start to use that methodical style to waste some clock and get down the field.
Yeah, Tevin Williams there on the tackle for the Rock. But you're right. But first of all, they need to get the first downs too to keep the ball moving. But it's a good start. It's exactly what they need to do.
Now Harris faking the handoff to Wheeler. He's going to roll over to his right. Throws over the middle. That one is caught and then lost by Smory. They're going to call it incomplete. And they are now back to a 3rd down situation.
That was a design. He was trying to hit Green in the flat again, but he was well covered and had Smory open and hit him. He hit him on the money. Smory just couldn't bring it in. And Luke Smory is the only guy on this field, a receiver, that's not wearing gloves. He doesn't wear gloves. He's old school. And I like that to an extent. Got to catch the ball, though.
That one he wasn't able to hang on to. And keep an eye on Brown right here. He picked up the first down on the last drive on a longer 3rd down such as this one. Now Harris trying to read the defense. We see a couple of defensive backs up towards the line. Harris back to pass. Pressure is there. It's lost through the hands right there of Fiore. He had him open in the flat. And now the Vulcans 3 and out on this drive.
Yeah, Tevin Williams, he almost smacked that right to Tevin Williams. You just got to be careful. Fiore's dropped a couple passes this year. He had a touchdown over the reception, but now California's offense, 3 and out. The defense, they're still, Coach Lopez is still working with them. They're still not really so much ready to go right here if they're going to just stay out on the field. Yikes.
And even with all of this, the Vulcans defense needs a big stop to keep them in this game. They are going to, they looked like they were going to fake it right there. That was really close. They punted away. Ball is loose. It was bobbled right there, but the Rock is still going to hang on to it. That was an interesting play call right there by the Vulcans.
I never seen that before. He had Luke Smory and Michael Keir, the two main punters that California's been using these past couple weeks, and Smory was like waiting. That might have been a designed fake, but it designed fake, and he had Keir there to block, and if he couldn't find anything, he then kicks it away. That's what they did. It's smart, decent kick too.
That was a very decent kick, and we saw the Rock almost lost that ball as their return man bobbled it as the Vulcan defenders were closing in. That could have been a huge turnover on that punt. But nonetheless, the Rock is going to get the ball right here. Nania, snap goes, the penalty markers are thrown. We might have a false start penalty right here.
And you can see, yeah, they will call it on Slippery Rock here, but Slippery Rock's had a decent amount of penalties called to them so far in the first half here. But in California, they've been caught a lot this season. Neutral zone infraction, offsides, and they're keeping it together right now in this game.
That's a big penalty to kick this drive off, sending Slippery Rock to a 1st and 15. That's going to help out the defense for the Vulcans trying to make a stop right here. Nania back to pass. Pressure is there, thrown over the middle. It is caught right there. That is Marcus Carter who falls forward through the middle of the field into Vulcan territory.
That's another thing. Cal's defensive line has not got any pressure on Nania so far in this game. They're just letting him stand back there and find an open guy like that.
They're going to snap it off, get a handoff right here to Green, and there are Vulcan defenders everywhere to stuff him for little to no gain. I think they're going to give him a yard on the play. Yeah,
that was a good play right there. I see Suber. I think Mahochi was in there on that one. They'll give Mahochi the credit for the tackle there. Suber and Bowman there to wrap up Green. That's what you got to do.
So it'll be 2nd down and 9. Nania fakes the handoff, is going to keep it again. He kills a bomb down the field. He has the receiver open, and it is going to be caught right there. That was number 10, Cornelius Ray. And Slippery Rock has opened this thing up.
Yeah, they have, and again, no pressure on him. He's just sitting back there, nothing, and the guy's wide open, just ran right by the defenders. Easy money. It's what rocks. There is a offensive lineman down here, number 72 for Slippery Rock. That's Corey Tucker. And there's actually 2 players down. California has a player down as well here, so that before they attempt this extra point. But hopefully both of these players are okay. But it's easy. Slippery Rock is making this look easy.
Yeah,
They're bullying California around.
2 players are down on the field. As that one, it looks like there was some skirmishes going on that deep pass play. For Slippery Rock, that's number 72, Corey Tucker, is up and is walking off the field under his own power, but the Vulcans player is still down near the 45-yard line. Can't quite see who it is exactly, but the trainer's still tending to him. Now they're gonna get him up.
That's Rapchak.
And that is Rapchak, one of the bigger players on this Vulcans defense, and he is limping off the field. But
he's the leading tackler in the PSAC, and he missed a game. You could see that he has a wrap around his left hand. He missed the Shippensburg game with a thumb injury, and here, hopefully he's okay. He doesn't look too good coming off the field. That's a big loss for a Cal defense there. That really doesn't have a lot of depth underneath it, or a lot of guys that have a lot of experience after Rapchak.
That's just another blow to this Vulcans team, especially after giving up that long touchdown. As now back to action, Slippery Rock is going to attempt the extra point. Huska out for his second extra point attempt of the afternoon. And this kick is going to go up, and it is going to be good. So Slippery Rock has opened things up, 28-7 lead, 6:58 left in the first half. Still a lot of time for the Vulcans if they can get this offense going to at least answer back with a touchdown of their own.
Well, I mean, they do have a lot of time. They got 6:58. You're right. And the comeback, you can never count out this team. To 18 last week, now 21. But just Slippery Rock's just too fast. They've proven they're just too fast for them. They can work at will. They're not getting any pressure on Nania. They're letting the receivers streak down the field. They're too much. They're too much for Cal's speed. And Cal's a decent. I mean, I'm just looking at the body language. The Slippery Rock players going around high-fiving each other, excited. Cal's defense just dug down, tired. It tells a lot from what you can see. Body language tells a lot, Damon.
What do you do now then, Matt, as a coach of the Vulcans defense? You know your defense is tired. You know they've been worn out by this high-tempo offense. What do you tell them to get them to continue to at least put out that ultimate effort and try to stop this offense?
You gotta dig deep here. You gotta play out of your mind. You just cover your guy and just try your best. Try to force them in the mistakes. Because they were. I mean, it's not like for 2 drives, Slippery Rock's offense did nothing. 3 and out and then the turnover. They had them, but then Cal's offense couldn't cash in, and that set Cal's defense to be just completely gassed. You saw they were right back on the field. Slippery Rock made it look easy. That's why, because they were tired.
Now we'll see if the Vulcans offense can't do them a favor right here and give the defense a break. Veal and Wheeler back to return this kick once again. Wheeler gets it. He's gonna take his time, look for an opening. He goes straight up the middle and falls down at near the 25-yard line, and that's where the Vulcans offense gets to start once again.
Well, they're gonna have to. They're starting to. Honestly, this kind of looks like last week. The first half offense, even though the offense looks a little bit more efficient than last week in the first half, but they're not getting points. They only had 3 last week. They had 7. They have 7 this week. Right now, it's 6:51 left in the first half. But I'm saying this. It's must need. They need to score. They need to score, or Slippery Rock's gonna run away with this.
We may see the Vulcans open up a little bit through the air on this drive. They've been successful at doing that a few times this afternoon. Harris out of the shotgun, is going to throw over towards the middle. Smorey makes the catch this time, falls forward, and he's going to be about a yard short of the first down.
It's a good start to the drive, finding Smorey out in the flat. I think that's his second reception of the game. Just draws it up, and so it'll be about 2nd and 1.
2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near side. The near side is Kawan Scott. And, of course, Franklin in the backfield as well. Harris faking the handoff, throws. It is batted down right there at the line. Slippery Rock's been getting pressure all day, and this time they bat it down. That was number 96, Cody Conway.
Yeah, you're right. That's again another difference in this game. Slippery Rock's in Harris's face. They haven't had any sacks yet, but they're there. They're pressuring. They're affecting the throws. And now suddenly 3rd and 1. Here we go.
A big 3rd down. The snap was bobbled a little bit by Harris. Pressure is there, and he is going to be dropped for a loss. That snap was bobbled right off the bat, and the Vulcans offense still not being able to get going here on these last few drives.
3rd and 1. Harris wanted to hand it to Franklin, but he bobbled the snap, and he had to take it himself because Slippery Rock was already camping out in the backfield. You get 9 yards on the first play there. Punch it in. They couldn't. They get the 1st down, but they didn't. Now they're going to be set up here. It looks like we're going to see the same formation with the 2 punters out there, but they're running out of time.
This one, they're going to do the same play. They're going to run over with Smory. He punts it away, almost blocked by a Slippery Rock player.
I think he got a piece on it. I think whoever got there, got a piece of that because Smory ran up to the line. And I like the rugby style, but the rugby style is you run out and away from everyone, not into the line and then kick it. And he got a tip there. And Slippery Rock's an offense that hasn't been stopped so far. Starts at midfield here. Cal defense was already on the bench. Now they're already back out in the field. So this has the makings. If Cal's defense doesn't start around, this could get ugly real quick.
And we've seen the Rock only punt once, and we've also seen an interception by the Vulcans. Otherwise, this offense for the Rock has gone down and scored those 4 touchdowns that we've seen today. They get the ball back, 5:34 in the first half left. They're on the 49-yard line. They're going to fake the handoff. Nani is going to keep it. He runs over to the outside, and no Vulcan defender could get to him, and he's going to have a large gain on the play. Gets down just inside the 35-yard line.
He was able to work her through this Cal defense, run through, found the seam, best run he's had so far today. And they're just going to keep hammering away at that any way, shape, and form. Maybe you can see, he haven't really gone up to seam a lot to Dutriel. Let's see if they go back to it.
And this one is going to be a pass right here. Looks like that one was tipped at the line. Incomplete to Leroy McLean. So good start to that play, though, as the Vulcans get a tip on the line of scrimmage right there.
Yeah, you see, it kind of, Nania hurried to throw there. He had McLean with a step open there. They could have got some extra yards, but a little sloppy there on the pass for 1st down.
That may have been the first pressure we've seen from the Vulcans. Nania back to pass. Goes over the middle once again. He finds Ray, who shakes a couple of defenders. Finally is brought down at the 15-yard line, and that middle of the field has just been open all day for the Rock so far.
Yeah, he was open and made a couple of guys miss. These guys are just, this is probably the most athletic set of receivers you're going to see in the PSAC on this Slippery Rock team. They're fun to watch. They're fun to watch.
That'll bring up 1st and 10. Nania going to have some pressure. He's going to get flushed out of the backfield. Throws it towards the end zone, and it is caught by Ray. And just like that, again, the Rock on the board.
Wow. That's all I got to say. I can't remember Cal's defense giving up 35 points in 1 half. It's been a couple of years. But they're just putting Slippery Rock's offense, I'm saying it's like a broken record. They're putting on a clinic. Guys are open. Nani stepped up in the pocket. He had so much space in the middle of the field to step up and make that throw. I mean, there's a whole hole in the middle. Gaping hole. Death Valley, you could call it, but just clockwork.
And Huska's going to kick the extra point up, and good. So that brings us to a 35-7 score with just under 5 minutes left in the first half. And so far, the Vulcans defense just has not had a break in this one. They have been on the field for most of the first half, as the Vulcans offense just hasn't been able to click after that first drive where they got a touchdown.
This second quarter's been a nightmare. Well, I mean, the whole game's been pretty much a nightmare for the defense, but the second quarter, my goodness. I mean, they can't, I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, right now, they can't stop a nosebleed. And I'm quoting Bart Scott, former NFL player, for that one. But it's just tough. They just need to stand up. They get some identity that they need right here to get it together and not give up. Never give up in a play. Last week, there's a PSAC contest, Shippensburg and East Stroudsburg. Shippensburg was down twice, 27 points to East Stroudsburg, and won 69-67 in 5 overtimes. That's crazy. You don't see that every day here. But I'm not saying it's not out of the ordinary for a 28-point comeback.
Not even just the comeback, even the 5 overtimes is pretty insane. That game just had an air of the oddity to it, just something
I don't
crazy.
think anyone wants to go 5 overtimes here today. These Slippery Rock, the fans, I think they want to go out and enjoy, celebrate homecoming night and not be here all day.
Well, that'll be up to the Vulcans to decide if that is the case or not, as they're going to have to answer and score 28 points to even get back in to tie this game. As per usual, Veal and Wheeler in the back getting ready to return this kick. This one is going to go over towards the near side in the corner. Wheeler's going to get it. Run up the sideline. Tries to find a couple blockers, ran out of room though. He's going to go out of bounds at the 25-yard line. And now this Vulcans offense has to try to at least get 1 first down on this drive.
I mean, well, and again, sparks like that, that was a nifty little return at Jimmy Willard. Sparks like that, that's got to awaken the whole team. And you can see Coach Keller there talking to his players and saying, let's go. Right now, you're getting this game handed to you by the other side. And just telling them to step up, make some plays, be efficient, and move down the field.
And it is imperative the Vulcans want to stay in this game. They are going to have to try to score right here. Looking for that elusive first down. They haven't seemed to have been able to get that very often on offense here in the second quarter. Back to pass, Harris. There is pressure as he is hit once again. They're going to say that ball was caught. It looked like it may have hit the ground, but they're going to give him the reception. Desmond Green on the play right there.
Hey, if it was the right call or not, Cal will take it. They will take it. They'll take it any way they can get that. I think that's good enough for a first down and much needed. I mean, Slippery Rock's crowd doesn't like it, but I mean, what's one call?
And the sideline for Slippery Rock is livid right now, trying to talk to the referees. But that is a big first down for the Vulcans to start this drive. Harris back to pass again, goes toward the near side, toward Brown. It is caught right at the first down marker. They're going to mark him just a yard short. But the Vulcans going towards the sideline, and it's working so far.
I mean, that's what it's how they use Gary Brown right there. They're still getting a lot. They still have a lot of cushion the Rock defensive backs are giving them, but they just need to keep advantage, keep it rolling. But sooner they keep doing those lazy passes, someone could jump it. One of the Rock defenders could jump it.
Right here, they are going to hand it off. This one's going to go to Fiore up the middle. And he gets close to the midfield. They're probably going to mark him down at the 50-yard line. And that is either way good enough for the first down. And the Vulcans are moving here.
They are, and this is what they need. This is what they needed to do many drives in the past, is take up a lot of time here, be efficient, and put pressure on Slippery Rock's defense.
Now Harris trying to do just that. Gets the snap. He's going to go back to pass. He's hit again in the backfield. This one again, though, is caught by Brown as they're starting to use him a little bit more in this game. That's good for about 8 yards. So the Vulcans getting decent chunks of yards on these first 4 plays.
Yeah, they're trying to work their best there and give Brown the catches and put the ball in the hands of Gary Brown and let him work. They didn't do that early on, and now they're trying to get him receptions and build it up, and it's working. It's working.
And we'll have to wonder how Harris is taking these hits every play. He's going back to pass again. It is tipped, as that was intended for Desmond Green, but the Rock defender was right in front of him. Luckily, he wasn't trying to intercept that, or he possibly could have.
Well, he jumped the route. That's what I was saying. Harris, his passes sometimes are not quick enough. You can't have a lazy pass with a defense this quick, like Slippery Rock. It's going to get picked off. We saw that last week when Steaton Hill got an interception on Harris late by jumping the route.
This time they're going to hand it off. Wheeler up the middle. He cuts over. He loses the ball. It looked like a Vulcan lineman fell on top of it, so the Vulcans catching a large break right there.
That was the center, Nick Tizer, there to get the fumble. But, yeah, Fiore, that ball popped right out. And I think everyone at the Cal's sideline for a second just groaned like, oh. But Cal, they get a first down out of it, too.
So overall, not a bad play. Vulcans did get lucky, but they'll take it. Harris back to pass. The pressure is on. Goes deep down the field to Brown. It is going to be intercepted by Slippery Rock. Deontay Fleming's on the coverage as he just out-jumped Brown. And another costly turnover for the Vulcans.
I'm running out of words to say. I mean, Harris hung that ball up there, and just a great athletic play there by Flemings to go up and wrestle the ball away from Gary Brown. Harris underthrow it, and Flemings was just waiting for it there. At Slippery Rock, 241. I mean, they're at the 3-yard line, 97 yards. What's 97 yards to an offense that's been working this quick?
And I hate to say it, but especially on those couple of those last few plays, man, it seemed that Harris was telegraphing his passes. He was staring right at his receiver. So now Slippery Rock again at the 3-yard line. They could do some damage. This one is a handoff to Green. And he maybe got 1 or 2 yards on the play, but I'm sure Slippery Rock just trying to shoot to get some breathing room between them and the end zone.
Breathing room, and most importantly, just try to even eat some clock down as they move along here. But they're going to, I think, be conservative to start right. Get them out of the field position. They're backed up. They're really, really backed up. But you can see maybe them start to roll Nani out, use that speed they've been using on these last couple of years. They've really been having him roll out more.
They're going to hand off to Green once again. He rolls out to the outside. He was in the end zone for a decent amount of time, but he turns the corner and gets past the 20-yard line. Another first down on the Rock out of that bad spot right on their own end zone.
And with teams for defenses that try to have a track meet with Slippery Rock, they're going to lose. And right now they let Green get to the outside, let him get open space, and let him get the first down.
And that's all they're doing right now is, they're going to give it up. Nani is going to get the ball. He's going to go up the far sideline and get a good game, but a flag was thrown in the backfield, so this may or may not be coming back.
That'd be a big break for the Cal defense as it does come back. It will come back. It will be holding. So I think California's defense is breathing a sigh of relief there because, again, they're running the outside. Nothing, I mean, if it was they get Green out there, they can have – it's just they're running that same side. They're not being – it's not like they're going around doing anything different or fancy. It's the same thing, and they're having success with it. I would be surprised if they go back there again.
And they have ran the ball on every single play of this drive so far, have the Rock. Let's push the clock down to 1:51 left in the half, so it is looking like they're just trying to burn some clock, and even if they get an opportunity, gain those yards and maybe try to score another one. Nania gonna hand it off to Green here, and he's gonna get tripped up at the line of scrimmage. So pretty much no gain on the play, and now it's gonna be 3rd down.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he got tripped up or he just fell because he hit the turf pretty quick. It looks like they'll give tackle Jawan Turner for getting the stop. I think that's the first time I've mentioned him all game. It's players like him, leaders like him, they're the ones that need to step up now and put a stop to Slippery Rock's offense. But they'll have California's going to get the hopefully for California, if they can get the stop here, they'll have time. They'll have time here, but they need to get this stop here.
I apologize. It actually is 2nd down after the holding penalty and the run. They're going to hand it off once again. Green up the middle is stopped by a few Vulcan defenders right in the middle. And that's going to send the clock below a minute here then in the first half.
Cal just took a timeout here. I think Slippery Rock's just going to be conservative now, run the ball, and force Cal to use their timeouts here because, I mean, they have quite a cushion. 28 points. Have breathing room, and their defense has been forcing Cal into making mistakes. They're content. Slippery Rock is content with running it. They're trying to just be conservative. Don't get any turnovers or any mistakes, and then give the ball back to Cal and just try to force Cal into the mistakes they've been having here. But I can't remember the last time Cal has been down this much, giving up 35 points in the first half to any team. 21 last week to Seton Hill. Even the Mercyhurst game that ended in 59-49, I think Mercyhurst only had 14 points at halftime. Slippery Rock is just taking it to California's defense. I think Slippery Rock losing that game to Seton Hill might have been a good thing for the Rock because that woke them up and kind of humbled them a little bit, if you will, and they get refocused. And that's what Slippery Rock, that's what they did to Gannon. They just flat out massacred their defense, and they're doing the same to Cal.
And looking at my game notes, the Vulcans have actually continually given up more points as the weeks have gone along. And here is this the highest amounts they've given up all season. Back to pass, Nania throwing over towards the far sideline. They're going to say he was out of bounds before he caught it, so that is incomplete. And the Vulcans getting an opportunity one last time on offense here in the first half with 52 seconds left.
And then they'll have to use a timeout as well, but we're going to see Devin Lomax come out here to return for California. So Aaron Terry, and I just saw him on the sideline there. He is being still attended with a trainer around him. So that's a big loss for Cal's defense. Losing a player like Aaron Terry out there, a guy who can make an impact what he's done. So that's been another reason why Slippery Rock's been able to. They're keying on the defensive backs that normally are Aaron Terry.
This punt is away. It's going to be going to about the 30-yard line, and Lomax is just going to call for the fair catch. That was a booming punt, and he's not going to risk it. He's going to give the Vulcans offense 70 yards to go if they want to try to get to the end zone, but they may even just try to get down the field and kick a field goal at this point, try to get something.
Well, anything. I mean, they're going to try anything. When they tried one field goal and Brazil missed it, they just need a spark. Because remember, Cal gets the ball in the second half. So get a score here maybe, get a score in the start the second half. That's how the Seton Hill comeback started. They got the ball first. They made a statement, but they need points of some sort. That would be definitely enormous. Can't say that enough.
Harris coming back to pass. He's going to throw over the flat to Fiore. He's going to get run into the referee. He didn't go down. As he shakes the defenders, he continues to run. They're trying to bat the ball out, and he's just going to run his way out of bounds to the Slippery Rock 38. That was an incredible play.
Again, that's what you can give the body language. It's a good spark like that. It's a great play by Fiore. Even had the ref to go through, but he got those extra yards because Derek Fulmore for Slippery Rock was spending more time trying to punch the ball out instead of wrapping them up.
And give the assist to the referee on that one. It almost helped him stay up in a way.
Pick.
So Harris out of the gun once again. Vulcans trying to answer with that big play again in the flat. They try to go to Brown, but it is incomplete. He was open wide in the middle of the field.
No one's around him. I mean, you can't even say he heard footsteps on that one. No one was around him. He's got to come up with that. And you see, if he catches that, he had a lot of space in front of him. He could have took it maybe at least to the red zone even more than that. That's been those mistakes, the drops, the missed assignments. They're all adding up.
31 seconds remain on the game clock here in the first half. The Vulcans, again, need to at least get into field goal range to at least possibly have a chance to put points on the board. Two receivers on the far side, one to the near side. Harris back to pass again. Throws towards the sideline. That's Green with the reception.
He's in bounds. The clock's still running, so Cal's going to take a timeout here.
And they will burn that second timeout of the half. That leaves them with one remaining to possibly use in a field goal situation. And after that big play, the Vulcans offense just, after a dropped pass and now the short gain right there by Green, they don't seem to, can't find a way to continue that momentum they just had from that big play.
Again, you use sparks like that to ignite anything. This Vulcan offense, always, any spark, they're like a powder keg. If you can get a spark like that, it wakes the whole offense up. Needed plays like that. Derek Fiore, a senior, this is his last game in the Cal Slippery Rock rivalry to get it going. And also an unsung hero like that, because they're not normally going to use Fiore to hit a big play like that. Normally, no, it's Wheeler, it's one of the receivers. No, it's Fiore there. And to keep California's offense, they got to like to see unsung heroes like that step up and make plays and give them that extra boost going down the field.
And so far, Fiore has had a pretty decent impact, at least trying to get that spark. And it's just like the metaphor of the fire. You get that one spark going, you're going to ignite something, but can't let it die out. The Vulcans can't let it here. 25 seconds remaining on the game clock. Fiore is in the backfield once again. You have to assume the Vulcans are going to try to pass. They don't want to have the clock continue to run on them. Harris looking down the field. He's going to go over the middle. This time wide open is Scott. He has room. He's going to run straight towards the sideline and go out of bounds at about the 12-yard line with 18 seconds left on the clock.
And that's the same play they had with Brown. This time Scott caught it and got the big gain and set California up here with 18 seconds left. Now I say touchdown. You need touchdown. You need 6.
The passing game has been effective here on this drive. They might as well stick with it if they can. Lining themselves up. 3 receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side of the field. Scott is lined up on the near corner of the end zone right here. Cook is in the cover, is on coverage on him. Back to pass, they throw over, and it is intercepted once again by the Rock. This one is Howard, Titus Howard. That was telegraphed too easily right there by Harris. Howard jumped the route, and the Vulcans' chance to score is gone.
That's the story of the first half. That's the heart ripper out right there. It's 9 seconds. This might be one of the worst half of Vulcan football I've seen in 4 years going to this school. But anyway, any chance in form, they've just not gotten it except for that first drive. I can't believe it.
And right here with 9 seconds left, Vulcans with only 1 timeout. Slippery Rock is just going to go ahead and kneel this thing and take it into halftime. So it has been a dominant first half for the Rock here on their homecoming in this rivalry game with the Vulcans. Any thoughts before we send it to halftime, Matt?
Well, just come out, whole new half in the second half, try to get something out of it in the second half, but you need to cash in there. You need to cash in. You had it 10 yards. 10 yards. That's all you needed. But who knows? I've seen crazier things happen in the second half.
And that is then the end of the first half here from Slippery Rock. The Rock up 35-7 on the Vulcans. We'll have more action for you in the second half coming up in just a little bit. And we welcome you back inside Mahalik Thompson Stadium here on the campus of Slippery Rock University as we're getting set for second half action between the California Vulcans and the Rock of Slippery Rock. And to start this half, the Rock is up 35-7, and it was a dominating half for Slippery Rock.
Oh, you said it. Dominating, excruciating for the Vulcans defense and the fans that came out here today. It was a nightmare. It was a flat out nightmare. And for California here, yeah, you're down 28. But it's a whole new half. You just got to try to wipe the memory from it. It's tough to do, but come out here, you get the ball first. But everything that could have went wrong in the first half went wrong. And it's not like, yeah, it's 35-7. That's still kind of deceiving because Cal's had so many opportunities to score. It could be at least 30. It could be 35-35 or 35-28. The way Cal's offense is moving. Once they hit that, except for the one drive, when they hit the side of the field that Slippery Rock's at, their side of the field, something happens. Interception, anything that could go wrong, go wrong.
And we'll see if the Vulcans can turn it around. But real quick, on a side note, the reason we only have one camera today, it is Slippery Rock's homecoming, and they have a lot of different things going on, a lot of people in town, so they weren't able to quite accommodate us to have the truck and a couple of other cameras. They were still able to set us up with a very good vantage point for this game, but just so that you all know watching this game that we only have one camera, and that is the reason why.
Yeah, and credit John Schultz, who one of the sports information director here at Slippery Rock, setting us up with these great programs and this nice almost menu-looking two-back set, like the two deep for offense and defense. He also helped me talk to Coach Mahalik for my CUTV News Center package this week. So he's done a great job accommodating us despite with everything going on here today, and can't thank him enough.
That's right, and it's going to be a good day for the rest of the people here at Slippery Rock with their homecoming, so I'm sure they're busy enjoying that as well. And so it's very nice to have them set us up so nicely. And now the Rock getting ready to kick this thing away. Huska is going to send it down the field. And this time, Wheeler's going to get it deep in the end zone. They're just going to tell him to take a knee and get the Vulcans to start the half with their offense.
That Huska kid has a pretty big leg. He's hit the end zone a couple times, but yeah, Wheeler was just too far back in the end zone this time, and Chaz Beal just like stood right in front of him and said, "Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't risk anything. Just start at the 25." And fresh set of downs right here. But for James Harris, 2 picks in the first half, more towards the end. The first half, Cal's offensive line has been beaten a lot by the defense by Slippery Rock. They haven't picked up the blitz as well. Harris has been under pressure. They come out here in a 2-back set.
Yeah, 2 sidecars in the backfield with Harris. See if this Vulcans offense can't get going. They're going to hand it off to Fiore. He had a big gain at the end of the first half. That time he gets about 3 starting this drive off for the Vulcans.
And Fiore had that big catch and run that set Cal up in Slippery Rock territory in the final minute of the first half. And again, it ended with a James Harris interception in the end zone right here. So Derek Fiore, not a bad game out of him. He's been one of the Vulcans that's been steady today.
And they may use him more as this game goes along here. This time, though, Harris back to pass. Has a nice pocket to throw from, and he gets this completed out to Gary Brown. And the Vulcans going to pick up a first down on just the second play of this drive.
And nice start. Gets Gary Brown involved early on. He was big in the second half against with Edinboro and Seton Hill with Harris working on offense right here. But you need to come away with 7 on this drive. No ifs, ands, or buts. They need to get a touchdown here.
The Vulcans trying to hurry up their offense just a little bit more than we saw in the first half. This one, again, over to the sideline, again to Brown. And they're going to take those yardage if the Rock is going to give it to him as he gets another first down reception.
Brown was able to create separation there from Titus Howard to make the catch again. Two catches for Brown in this third quarter. So we just about to tick under the first minute of play here in the third quarter. But California's offense going quicker because they need to get points. They don't have much time.
They are already into Slippery Rock territory on the 49-yard line. Harris getting the ball rolling out toward his right. That one thrown at the feet of Scott. It looks like he really didn't have anybody open that time, so he'll just take the down right there.
Well, that, and also he had Marcus Martin coming in from the blind side chasing him. He had to get that ball off or he would have been dropped. But this Slippery Rock offense, and I'll allude to this more when Slippery Rock has the ball, but even one time, they remind me of Oregon. They are so quick. And at one time, we've been timed them 10 seconds. 10 seconds. That's incredible from play to play.
The Vulcans trying to emulate that here. Harris was going back to pass, but they're going to throw the flag right here. And I can see the one referee already signaling it was a false start on the Vulcans, so this is going to stall the drive.
This has been this has honestly been one of the more cleaner games so far. California's had avoiding penalties. They've had one holding, and this was, I believe, their second false start of the game. But we don't see any personal fouls yet. I mean, who knows what could happen. But they're keeping it, at least they're keeping it clean with the penalties.
And it hasn't been the penalties. It's been the turnovers this
Yes.
time for the Vulcans that has hurt them in this game. 13:56 left on the third quarter clock as we are just underway here in the second half of this game. Harris taking the ball back to pass after the penalty. Pressure is there. He throws it up, and Kawan Scott has it fall in and out of his hands. A recurring problem for the Vulcans receivers so far today.
You're right, and those tip drills have been sometimes they've led to interceptions. And Kawan Scott, who had a great first half, other than fumbling the ball, but he's got to catch it. He's got to catch it. Now they're in a 3rd and long situation here, 3rd and 15. You got to score. You got to make play. Some play, any play, maybe a little trickeration or something.
And you might have to go to one of your deep threats here to try to pick up those 15 yards for the first. Harris back to pass. The pressure is there. He is hit again, and he throws yet another interception on that one. Titus Howard making his second pick of the game, but the ball came out.
Yeah. Wow, it's a data break.
And the Vulcans are going to recover it. I guess Howard was losing the football on his way to the ground. And the Vulcans, oh my goodness, almost on the verge of another interception, and they get it right back, fighting for every last attempt they could get.
Exactly, and credit Gary Brown there for not giving up, and because Titus Howard had the ball, was kind of like holding it out there, like I got it, and he was able to get the ball. Could this be the break the Vulcans need? It still counts as interception for Harris. He's now got 3, but Cal survives it.
So now Harris is going to step back to pass again after the big break. He goes over the middle, a little bit off the line right there with Brown. He hasn't really been in sync with Brown most of the day yet today. That'll bring up second down.
Oh, he's been hitting him more. Not at first he wasn't, but now he's kind of. But you're right. It's been inconsistent. It's been inconsistent. But on that interception, it was set up by Harris getting drilled by Marcus Martin. Who's just busting in there from the blind side. He was able to get it off. I thought he was going to get sacked for a second, but it just led to the thought interception and then the turnover by Slippery Rock.
And you have to wonder if Harris is taking those hits. And we're going to get some flags on the play as the play didn't even get started off. And the Vulcans called for another false start, their second one of this drive.
Well, they took a while to get the ball snapped. I thought I looked over at the play clock to see if it was a delay of game, but they look completely confused there.
Well, after the false start, the Vulcans again backed up 5 more yards. This time 2nd and 15. So they'll try to rebound after this penalty here. Back to pass. Harris is hit this time from the blind side. A big hit right there. That was number 51, Tevin Williams, laying the sack down on Harris.
That was unavoidable. That left side of Cal's offensive line has been getting dominated in this second half so far. With either was Martin, and that time Williams on the linebacker blitz, and Harris just had no choice but to just fall down and get hit.
And you have to wonder if these big hits are taking a toll on Harris as we go through this game.
I mean, there's big hits too, and it's not like that was surprisingly the first sack that Slippery Rock had all game. But the quarterback hits, the number is well up there.
And now 3rd and extremely long right here. They're just going to send the receivers down the field. Harris throws it to Smory, who makes the catch, shakes off his 2 defenders, and he falls back to near the line of scrimmage, but nonetheless, that is still going to bring up 4th down.
And that's Smory made something out of nothing. That was a nice little catch. But for Slippery Rock, Deontay Fleming's almost jumped the route again. Harris is still looking at his receivers and giving, and that's the Rock defenders have the speed to just try to close in there. But that's a very nice play there by Smory.
And being down by 28, the Vulcans are going for it here on 4th down. 4th down and about 11. 2 receivers on the far side, 2 near the other side, and he is sacked. Harris, the 2nd time this afternoon, is sacked. That is Avery Anderson this time getting in there. And now this line for the Rock on their defensive side is getting to the quarterback.
Again, no time. He had no time. He was right there. Avery Anderson was right there as Harris backed up. And that's been the difference, is he's not being able to get anything working. But you think get any momentum from that getting the break on the interception, then fumble and getting the ball back, get that second life, take advantage of that. They just couldn't, and now you give it back to the offense that has been giving you nightmares, that just gave you an absolute nightmare in the first half.
Yeah, that Oregon-like offense back on the field. We'll see what they decide to do here in this half. They're going to hand it off to their running back, Green, who turns the corner, doesn't get very far, maybe 2 yards on the play. And this offense, though, for Slippery Rock, they've shown their weapons. They don't really have any other than Green, big-name guys, but they are just using every single weapon they have.
They're using every weapon they had. Dutriell early on with that long touchdown catch. Anyone can do it.
And this one's going to be a quick bubble screen out to the far side. That one was to Scales, shaking some defenders and getting across the 1st down marker. And the Slippery Rock's going to have a 1st down right off the bat.
And you can see Scales, Carter, who's the other? Ray, Tucker. Nania's just spreading out the offense and getting everyone involved.
This one fake handoff to Green. They're going to get some pressure on this time, and the Vulcans are going to get their 1st sack of the afternoon. That's a big one to have right there.
Oh, it is, and you got to be thinking as a Cal fan, it's about time. Cameron Tarver on the sack. I believe that gives him the lead in sacks so far this year. That's his 4th.
And now we've seen 3 sacks already in this first half, where we barely saw any, if
we
at
didn't
all.
See any period.
In the first half, so it'll be 2nd down and 19 for the Rock. They're going to hand it off to Green. He comes around the corner on the near side, tries to push his way forward. He is met by Veal there at the 45-yard line, and they stop him maybe for about a gain of 5.
And Green, he made impact there with Suber. Tried to push Suber forward, but then Chaz Veal came in. He'll get credited with the tackle. Chaz Veal, remember in the Bloomsburg game, he had double-digit tackles. He had a whopping 15 tackles. But when you start to see players like defensive backs making tackles, that means the other team's getting some big plays when the defensive back has to make the tackle.
Yeah, that means your running back is getting into the 2nd level of the defense, and that is definitely something you try not to have happen. Now Nania back to pass. Again, the pressure is on. He escapes those 2 defenders, fakes the throw, keeps going up the middle, falls forward. He gets past the line of scrimmage, back to the 35, and now it's going to be 4th down here for Slippery Rock.
Be about 4th and I'd say 5 or so. So here, 4th and 6, and of course Slippery Rock's going to go for it. Why not?
And in a rivalry game, they're going to probably try to stack up as much points as they can. They're going to go for it here.
And it also comes to the point, yes, it is a rivalry game, but, I mean, there comes to that point where everyone will say, are they running up the score? Are they running up the score? But it's like, as I say, yes, that's true, but if your defense can't stop them, they're just running their offense.
Nania back to pass. He's going to find that open lane once again. And he slides his way forward, and he is going to get the 1st down as he falls down near the 25-yard line, and that's that dual threat that he presents. He can throw it, but he can definitely tuck it and run.
No one was out there. I mean, he was out there just waiting to find a seam. No quarterback spy on him, and it was easy.
And that's just the way it has been going for this Vulcans defense today. As Nania, again, back to pass. This one, though, batted down at the line of scrimmage right there by Lardaney. He was almost going to get some pressure there, but he stuck his hands up and batted that down.
That was good because there was Scales was open there on the far side. But Lardaney, I like what Lardaney brings to the table. We saw him early on. This is really his 1st year where he's starting on that defensive line. He's made the most of it.
So now 2nd down. This one's going to be a handoff. Green falling forward and getting a few yards, and it'll make it more of a manageable third down for Slippery Rock right here.
And you can see Slippery Rock slowing down the tempo a little bit. They're still pretty quick to the line here, but it's not as like lightning quick as it is. They're already back to work here in third down.
And the time is winding down a little bit quicker here in this third quarter, down to about 9 minutes remaining. Fake handoff over the middle. Nania's pass is completed right there to number 80, Marcus Carter. He took a big hit on that one,
Well,
but he held on.
He did, and credit him even more to hang on to the ball there. But that was a beautiful play-action fake. Nania just pulled the ball back from Green, no one around him, and just fired it. Great play. That's how you run a play-action.
Now that'll make it first down, and I believe the first down marker is down at the 1 yard line. They're going to hand it off to Green. Goes over towards the far side. He picks up just about 4 or 5 yards on the play. That'll bring up second down, and the Rock can get a first down here without having to score the touchdown.
You're right. And Juwan Turner getting there on the tackle, but they can take their time here. They don't need to get to the goal. They need to get to about the 1 yard line.
Now that'll be second down. Nania keeps it after faking the handoff, and he falls in forward, and he is going to get the next touchdown for Slippery Rock with 8:23 left on the clock in the third quarter. The Rock up to 41 points as that cannon goes off once again.
But that's Nania's second rushing touchdown of the game. 40 points now, 41 points, pending extra point, could be 42. Slippery Rock, how many straight drives has that been that they've scored? I'd say 5 at least in a row. Just picking right up where they left off.
Yeah, their drives have become very efficient after the punt and the interception in the first quarter. They have gone down and scored on almost every offensive drive. This kick is up, and it is good for Huska. So that puts the score to 42-7 with 8:23 left in the third quarter. And now
it comes to the point when Cal's players now have that mindset. They just want to get out of here. They just want to get out of here and move on. But it doesn't get any easier. It doesn't get any easier for Cal. They go at IUP next week. An IUP team right now is undefeated, still in conference, going in today at Seton Hill. Then 2 weeks in the next home game, Cal's homecoming, they're going to face a 6-0 Clarion team. Clarion taking out Edinburgh today. Another score to talk about today, Gannon 16-13 over Mercyhurst. So Gannon keeps any chance they have alive at trying to take the PSAC West. Mercyhurst now 0-3, and also their starting quarterback Brendan Boylan in that game was injured in the first quarter. That's gonna destroy Mercyhurst if they can't use Boylan.
And so with a tough schedule like that, Matt, even though this game seems pretty out of reach, wouldn't it seem pretty important if you're the Vulcans? You might as well gain some momentum. Try to make this thing.
That's what they need to do. You're right. I mean, they can't give up. They can't just say, let's let Slippery Rock run all these touchdowns up. No, you need to get an identity, find that identity, and make plays and put points up. Make it respectable. Feel good about yourself, and you got to earn it. It's not like Slippery Rock's going to say, here's 20 yards in front of you, go run down the field. They need to earn it themselves.
And any extra momentum the Vulcans could gain by trying to make this close could lead them into a better place going into that Coal Bowl game against IUP next week. And the kickoff is away. It's going to be a very deep kick. This one's actually going to go out of the end zone. So you talked about it earlier, Matt Huska with that big leg, and that time showing it.
That's the time. He's not even using any wind, too. He's just, boom, out of the stadium. And he's hit wheel. I'd say the last couple times he's been getting a lot of work in today with those kickoffs. But now with California, they'll start at the 25 again. But we'll see. I mean, they made it again in the Slippery Rock territory. Again, they didn't come away with any points. I feel like a broken record, but it's true. It's true.
And the total yards gained by the Vulcans has to be up there. But again, the score does not reflect that. This offense has been able to move down the field, just not capitalize on their opportunities so far. So Harris is going to hand this one off to Franklin to start this drive. He meets 2 Rock defenders and falls forward for a few yards. That could have been a loss, but good job by Franklin to move his way forward.
Trying to get any yards possible here, and Franklin's the only one that has the score so far for California. He kept his scoring streak alive. He leads the PSAC with 9 rushing touchdowns. That's something good to come away with. That's a positive point of the season that Franklin's having.
And he is still in the backfield right now with Harris. Couple receivers on the near side, one on the far side for the Vulcans. Harris going back to pass. The pressure is there once again. And the Slippery Rock defenders were there again. That pass incomplete, tipped by a couple of defenders as they try to pick that off again.
I've seen so many tip drills, hand drills. I've been really seeing a lot of this has probably been the worst game for California's receivers as well, dropping passes and having the ball. I mean, Slippery Rocks, they're lucky Slippery Rock doesn't have like 6 interceptions today with those interceptions.
And that is now 3rd and 9, another long third down for the Vulcans right here. Quan Scott is on the near side here for the Vulcans. This one over the far side. This time Lomax. He had a couple of drops, or not Lomax, I apologize. That was Smory right there. I saw Lomax going near the area, but Smory making the catch. He had a couple of drops earlier,
yes,
but that time made a big one.
Plays like that, it's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel good. And California with a big play right there to get the first down, keeps the defense off the field, no 3 and out. And we'll see if they can continue that success right there. Smory makes some nice catches so far, but he's also had 2 big drops too.
And Lomax and Green are actually here on the near side. We said their names a couple of times today, but Lomax does not have a reception yet. 2 sidecars in the backfield. They're going to hand it off to Franklin. He just goes straight forward for about 3 or 4 yards, so a modest gain on the ground. And the Vulcans, again, they are picking up those yards, making their way to Slippery Rock's territory.
Got to finish, though. Got to finish. I mean, nice. I mean, we've seen a lot of impressive performances with Scott and Brown piling up the catches, but it's not going to show if you can't put it in the end zone.
The Harris backs pass. Pressure is all over. He escapes the initial rush. He avoided about 4 Rock defenders right there, falls forward. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. Even though that was a broken play, that was an impressive effort by Harris.
It was. I mean, it still counts as a sack, 3rd one of this quarter, but the fact that he could have been way back and he still made all those guys miss, still got wrapped up. I mean, Harris still pretty elusive. I mean, Slippery Rock's defensive line is basically camped out and having a party in the California backfield.
So now that'll bring it back to 3rd and 10. Another long third down to try to convert here for the Vulcans. Pressure is straight up the middle. They send everybody. They get it. The floating pass is to Fiore. He escapes the 2 defenders, still on his feet, running towards the sideline.
Wow.
And he may have just gotten that first down, but they are going to say that he was about a yard short is where they looks like they're going to spot him.
That was a heck of an effort there by Derek Fiore. Slippery Rock brought the house on that one. It was a good design screen pass. They will smart a yard short, but Derek Fiore, he might be one of the more consistent guys California's had today. He's looked really great.
He is off the field on this one. They got Franklin in the backfield. They fake the handoff, and Harris doesn't even get the ball off. I don't know what he was trying to do right there, but he is sacked by Conway for the 2nd time here today.
I mean, he's right. I mean, Slippery Rock's defenders are in the backfield. Harris can't do anything. I mean, it doesn't matter what he was going to try to do there when he has someone in his face as soon as he gets the ball. I mean, they're literally Slippery Rock's defensive line is dismantling Cal's offensive line. They're going to have to go back to the playbook and just this offensive line for this week. 4 sacks in this quarter.
Yeah, they at least were able to avoid giving up the sacks in the first half, but right now it seems Slippery Rock's coming out with even more fire on the defensive side of the ball here in the second half. So now Nania faking the handoff, going to roll over to his left, find an open receiver who is dropped right there. That was Drew Scales on the reception, but he was met quickly by the Vulcan defense.
Oh, that's one of the better plays. I mean, that's good hit. It's good to get the confidence back in the defense to make hits like that. You got a gain of 4 out of to make it 2nd and 6. False start.
We get a flag before the play is even off. This is going to back up Slippery Rock. So that'll make the Vulcans defense feel even better, get a big hit on the last play, and then Slippery Rock backs themselves up with the false start.
So it'll be 2nd down and 11. And right now we see Durden in the backfield for Slippery Rock. You got to believe Shamar Green coming off that ankle injury. I think Coach Mahalik's going to start resting him a little bit with the game well in hand. And
he may start resting a few of his guys. Nania back to throw. It is to the sideline. It is caught. And they're going to say he made the reception. He kept his feet in bounds. That was number 11, Tashawn Tucker. They're going to mark him just short of the first down, though, so it still is 3rd down.
Yeah, I had a clear shot of that. He got both feet in bounds with the catch. That was a great catch. I could see right through the little seam of the California players on the sideline there.
3rd and 1, about 5:05 remaining in the 3rd quarter. They're going to hand it off. And this one is taken up by Durden. another big run for him today. He had one earlier on for a touchdown, and then he gets up on this one to the 19-yard line on a first down.
If it doesn't matter if it's Green or Durden in the backfield, they're just gonna continue to pound away. And Cal's had Slippery Rock both in the last drive and this drive. They've had him backed up 3rd and long, and they let him go, and more penalty flags. It's another false start.
And despite the Rock's success on offense, they have had quite a few false starts today.
That they have, but it hasn't impacted the game whatsoever. I mean, and normally when you do have a lot of false start like that, it does, but it's just that they can just make up with it with the amount of plays they run and the amount of yards they've gotten when they need to.
Yeah, the home run style offense they run. Durden getting the ball once again. Look at the speed as he goes fighting off his man. He was trying to get tackled right there, but he still would not let it happen, and he falls down to the 1-yard line. He has incredible speed going up the middle.
He does, and good luck to any defense trying to stop Green. And it looks like Green was trying to run back out there on the field to keep Durden out there. And now they have another back in there, Isaiah Neely, who's behind Nania. Let's see if they give it to him.
And they do give it to Neely. He goes straight forward, waiting for the signal, but it looks like the Vulcans defense were able to stop him on that one.
Yeah, I thought he was in, but it's a good stand there on first down. They had Cal's defense had 2 impressive goal line stands that they forced field goals last week at Seton Hill, and it allowed them to win the game. They're going to need another one here.
Second down, they're going to give it to Durden, and he is going to fall forward for the touchdown. And Slippery Rock gets yet another touchdown as they continue to just run this score up. 4:15 left in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I mean, that cannon's starting to get really annoying, to be quite honest. I mean, that's what they're doing. It feel like that cannon, that's probably the most use this cannon's got this season. Well, Slippery Rock did put 75 on Millersville, but I can't remember the last time. I have to look up the last time Cal's given up so many points since the Mercy Arts game, 59 points when they gave up last season.
And they may run out of shells for that cannon here pretty quickly, as Huska is going to kick this one up, and it is going to be good. So Slippery Rock now up 49-7 with 4:15 left in the 3rd quarter. And the Vulcans offense at this point just looking for any possible solution.
There hasn't been a solution. They've tried everything, and their offensive line has completely collapsed in this 3rd quarter. 4 sacks given up in the last 2 drives. And now I'm seeing backup quarterback Michael Keir grab a football and start warming up. So I don't know how long James Harris is going to be in this game. But if you're Coach Keller, you got to start to think, you got to worry about Harris's safety in case he continues to get drilled like that by Slippery Rock's defenders. Keep him out in case of an injury. So we might see a little Michael Keir here later in this game. We haven't seen him at quarterback since Virginia State in week 1, where that game was well in hand, and Keir got some time to run some plays on the last drive. It's good to get him experience, but it's just anything. Maybe Keir could get some plays rolling here, but this is James Harris. The last time he played on this field, Damon, was 2 years ago, and he got a concussion, got knocked out of the game. But he was in that game. This was his numbers: 3 for 20.
And Harris has had just about as rough of a day today. You're right.
He doesn't like this place.
He does not like this place. Neither does the California offense. We spoke about it in the open with the fact that this offense has struggled here in Slippery Rock. They started out very well at the opening of this game, scoring a touchdown on their first drive. But ever since, it seems the curse has come back to haunt them here on Slippery Rock's homecoming.
I mean, of course it's homecoming. They're going to play well for homecoming. You got alumni back. I look at the Slippery Rock sideline. You see all these alums and they're probably proud of what they're doing.
And once again, the kickoff is going to be kneed down in the end zone by Wheeler. And so the Vulcans going to start at the 25 for the 3rd straight drive.
And there's some Slippery Rock coaches here that they were former players. Jared Buck, got the quarterback for Slippery Rock last year that won the PSAC championship. He is a graduate assistant and secondary coach. It's a homegrown, and Quindell Dean, he's graduate assistant running backs coach. Coach Mahalik, this is a homegrown coaching staff, and for Mahalik, he's been here 28 years head coach, 35 years overall with 7 for the assistant. It's just he is Slippery Rock, and he builds, and a lot of these players respect him and want to come back, and they want to play for him. Now Michael Keir in the game at quarterback.
And Michael Keir was warming up, and Slippery Rock's defensive line jumped on the play because the offensive line for the Vulcans jumped So the struggles continue, and they're going to start this drive on a 1st and 15.
I mean, that looked like they weren't even set up to start with there, and that's might be even on Kier calling out the wrong signals or something that made one of the linemen move.
And Kier's going to fake the handoff, going to roll out. The pressure was on him as well there, and he overthrows this, almost picked off. That thing falling towards the ground. There were about 4 defenders right there for the Rock around Brown.
Well, and Kier overshot Brown completely. He's lucky that didn't get picked off. But again, he had pressure. There was someone chasing after him. There's always someone back there that's chasing after whoever the signal caller is, if it's Harris or now Kier.
And Michael Kier getting some reps, though, in a real game right here. So he's going to have to shake off some of the rest. They're going to hand the ball off right here. Wheeler shaking off a defender. He does a good job at breaking tackles. He's going to fall forward, and he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. So it'll be a 3rd down and 10 for this Vulcans offense.
Well, it gets it back to the original line of scrimmage. They just try to get anything possible, any hope, and it had to be good for Michael Kier to get experience like this because he's next man up. This is James Harris's last season. He's the guy. He's going to be the guy next season. To get him experience like this at the cost of losing 49-7 right now, it gives him time with 3:16 left in the 3rd quarter.
Kier going to go back to pass right here. He's going to throw it out towards the flat. This one's caught by Fiore. It is not going to be enough for the 1st down.
And Fiore there with the reception again. He's had a couple nice plays, but 3 and out for the Cal offense, and they're just going to stick the Slippery Rock offense back out here, and they're just going to keep scoring. It's not like they're going to say they're going to give up. They're going to run their offense, and Cal defense that literally can't stop anything right now.
The Vulcans are getting set to punt this thing away. We have seen that formation of late where it looked like they would fake it. This time it's a straight punt right off the bat. It's going to bounce down near the 35, probably goes out about the 37-yard line is where Slippery Rock is going to start this drive. But yeah, Matt, even though it is a blowout game and things aren't looking very good for the Vulcans, you just said it, that you can look on the bright side. You are giving your backup quarterback, Michael Kier, an opportunity to go out there and play in a game, and because he's going to be your guy next year.
Yes, he is. You hit nail right on the head, and it's gonna be some growing pains for sure, especially with the throttling that's going on today. But it's better to have a guy that has experience running the offense in game live action. So he's not completely rusty next season and inexperienced.
Now Slippery Rock lines up. Nani is going to give that off to Durden. He used that quick burst once again, and he's going to cut forward easily for a good 11 or 12-yard gain right there, and picks up the 1st down right off the bat.
Yeah, and I think Slippery Rock's about to have 2 guys over 100 yards today as well, rushing the ball.
Yeah, we don't have any stats to give you on that specifically. This pass, though, over the middle on a slot for the receiver, that was Dutrell. He's had a couple of big plays on that slant play. That time it falls incomplete. Vulcans actually covered that one very well on that play.
That's the first time they've gone to him in the slot since the Slippery Rock 2nd scoring drive of the game in the 1st quarter. But instead of just trying to go to that, they've worked different plays that's had success. They've run a lot of their offensive plays have had success, if all of them.
The Vulcans defense backing up more into a zone scheme, giving some space to the Slippery Rock receivers. They're going to give this pass is out over to the far sideline. That one was over to Marcus Carter. It's going to still be short of the 1st down, so it is going to bring up a 3rd down play here for Slippery Rock.
And Cal, it's going to be probably, I'd say, 3rd and 2, 3rd and anything. It'd be a nice stop for the Vulcans defense here. They can wrap them up here. They bring Green back into the game here, 2-back set.
Yeah, the 2-back set is in the backfield. Nani is going to give it off. Green falls forward. He is right near the 1st down marker, and he is probably going to be marked just past it.
Yeah.
And they are going to give him the 1st down on that play.
They just go right back to Green. His first carry of the 2nd half here, and easy money for the 1st down.
And the Rock running that hurry-up offense again. They're going to fake the handoff, pitch it out over to the side to Durden. Turns the corner, goes upfield to about the 25. There's going to be a flag on the play over there on that far sideline. And we'll have to see what happened. I couldn't quite see if anything happened on that play.
And it was thrown, maybe it was a block downfield or something that was a hold. And it looks like they will call it on Slippery Rock. So it's a break for Cal, because that would have been another 1st down, and Slippery Rock would have been even more closer to, do I dare say, put 50 points on California?
And that was a tricky play right there. And they're going to call a holding penalty on the wide receiver, Marcus Carter. That's going to back Slippery Rock up and negate that run. So it is a big break for the Vulcans. They're able to keep them now back near the 40-yard line here.
And Slippery Rock with still a new set of downs right here. It's just so many guys. The depth they have on offense is insane. Anyone they can go to. Now they got Neely back there by himself.
And they're using their full complement of running backs in this one, so Slippery Rock even getting some of their bench players out there. Neely turns the corner on the near side here. Gains a decent chunk of yards back, and he might have just gotten that first down on that play, and they're going to give it to him. So yet again, another first down for Slippery Rock on the ground as well.
I feel like you said that a lot today. It's anyone, and even you give Neely experience like this, he's the next guy up. Although you got Green is only a junior, and everyone in the PSAC is thinking, oh, we got to keep dealing with him for another year. He broke out early as a freshman. He was already given Cal Fitz his freshman year in 2013.
And Neely, who's in the backfield, is a sophomore, so he's also a very young running back. He's going to get the handoff right here, but the Vulcans' defense going to penetrate the backfield as he is stopped short down below the line of scrimmage.
And that was Harold Brewster. Credit him getting the rush in there. That's the first time we've called his name all game. But it makes anyone that can make a play like that, makes them feel good, because that's the best penetration in the backfield we've seen today.
That's got to be a positive to see for this Vulcans defense. They've been tired all day, but to get a stop against such a good rushing attack that Slippery Rock has had today, that's got to be big. Nania back to throw. He tries to hurry this thing up to the middle of the field towards Ray, but it was out of his reach. That one will fall incomplete, so a long third down here now for the Rock.
And third down and 14, but California's defense, you got him backed up. Just got to stand tall right here and get a stop. I think any confidence this California defense could have, if they could just force a turnover on downs or anything to stop this offense.
And good goal would to be not to give up 50 points in this game if they can help it. Nania, one sidecar. He originally fakes the handoff, and then he gives it to Neely, who is going to be stopped in the backfield for the most part. So the Vulcans defense stands tall, and they're going to first force a fourth down.
And Jawan Turner there on the stop on Neely, but Slippery Rock's going to go for it. They're already there. Looks like this will be the final play of the third quarter here. It's the players coming off the field, and 15 more minutes to go with Slippery Rock up 49-7. And for California, it's try to get out of here and move on to the next one for IUP, because it's not been pretty, to say the least. It's easy to be negative, but you can just try to just be positive, because this offense has proven they can move down the field. They can at will, but they've just not been there. They've just not been there to finish off the drives. And normally we don't see that out of Cal. Normally when Cal moves down the field, they get the scores.
And I'm sure you've seen this, Matt, in other colleges and even at the pro level and other forms of football, but most teams will say these kind of games aren't the best, especially when you're in the moment. But when you get a chance to look back, these are the games that you can learn from, that a team can learn from moving forward. And I'm sure the Vulcans, they can go back, they could go into practice this week, and they can start to break it down, figure out what they have to do right, and it may just be the thing they need with such a tough schedule coming up against IUP and Clarion coming up on homecoming. This could be the thing they need to wake them up and just get them ready for those two games.
It's a big wake-up call for sure, absolutely. And like I said earlier, the wake-up call Slippery Rock needed was getting upset in Greensburg, because Slippery Rock came into this year ranked as high as 14th in the polls in Division II. They were expected to do great things this year, and they still can be. They kind of really didn't have the defense didn't play well, kind of sluggish on offense, especially in the first couple of weeks against New Haven in week 1. But they needed that loss to kind of bring them back down to earth, focus in, and say, hey, we can't let that happen again. And they've destructed Gannon, now Cal. Their defense has only given up 21 points in the last 2 weeks compared to the 41 they gave up to Seton Hill the week before that.
And so we see the example with Slippery Rock right there. Getting back to action, it looks like there was a delay of game right there. As Slippery Rock was, I guess, trying to draw the Vulcans possibly off sides with a hard count right there, being
Well,
fourth down.
I think they were also trying to see if they try to punt here, it might give their punter a little bit more space to pin Cal deep.
That is a very good strategy that a lot of teams do try to run if they are just out of field goal range and they're trying to punt it away. They may just give their punter more time, more space to work with, try to pin him down into the corner, and that's what Slippery Rock seems to be doing right here. So for just the second time today, Huska's going to get a chance to punt one back to the Vulcans. And this one is blocked by the Vulcans. They're trying to pick it up. They get it. They're going to continue to run it down the field, and look at this. The Vulcans get a positive point in this one. That one was returned by Jordan Bowman. Blocked punt, touchdown, and there you go, Matt. There's a bright spot.
That's great. That's good for this defense. Jordan Bowman making big plays all season, and it gets a nice ovation from the Cal crowd that's still here. Good for this defense. They needed that bad, and it's honestly, they've had success blocking punts against Slippery Rock in the past. They had 2 blocked punts in 2012. They had a blocked punt in 2009. But that's just good for really good for Cal's defense and good for them to get a big play like that. It looks good it gets a little bit better and more respectable on the scoreboard.
That's exactly what you needed. That could be a spark to at least put some more points on the board for the Vulcans and make this thing close. As here comes the extra point from Brazil. It is going to be up, and it is going to be good. So the Vulcans, for the first time since the first quarter, are on the scoreboard. 49-14 with 14:50 left in this game. So they got to double digits, and the special teams looking good off of that block punt.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the one thing that Cal can say they got the advantage for was the special teams. Because if you think about it, Slippery Rock's really not done anything on special teams, or they really haven't needed to, and now California's got that advantage. They'll call offsides here on Slippery Rock, and it'll be declined, so still be 49-14. 14:50 left here in the ball game. Now Cal's defense, who got the stop on Slippery Rock, now they can have a chance here to back Slippery Rock up. And because Slippery Rock's been having their average, I'd say started field would be around the 45-yard line at least. And now they can have a chance to back them up if they can stop them on the kick return backed up.
Yeah, with the turnover on downs that the Vulcans have had, they've had numerous of those today, trying to go for it on fourth down, being so far behind. Yeah, Slippery Rock's offense has had a very good starting field position so far in this game, but Vulcans getting a chance to kick it off right here. And they have a chance to pin them down deep if they possibly can. Number 7, Jameer Dutrell is back there for the Rock.
And with the speed that they got with Scales and Dutrell back there. But for Slippery Rock, next week they go to Erie to face Mercyhurst, which could be without Brendan Boylan. And Slippery Rock's looking for revenge from last season, the Big House game, where they went to Michigan and Ann Arbor and played Mercyhurst in Michigan Stadium. And Mercyhurst, kind of similar offensive performance today that they're putting on Cal is what they did to Slippery Rock. So they're going to look for revenge next week.
Scales going to get a chance to return this, and he is dropped down at about the 24-yard line. So good special teams coverage for the Vulcans. And now for the first time in a while, I believe, Slippery Rock's going to have to start from right near the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I'd say since about the first quarter. And Ryan McCauley there on the special team stop. But that's the one thing you can't take away. They can be confident about what the special teams have done today when they've had opportunities to. Now let's see what Slippery Rock does here. If you start to see some of the more of the backups come into the game here, looks like Nani is going to stay out here at quarterback. There's also Zach Newsock, who played in last year's Slippery Rock Cal game because Jared Buck was hurt, and he's the backup quarterback, so we might see him towards the end of the fourth quarter.
And Nani's going to hand it off to Isaiah Neely, who tries to turn the corner on the far side of the field. He's not going to get very far. He's going to fall forward for about 2 or 3 yards.
And again, they can get experience there with Neely, but then we can also see some other for Slippery Rock players get some experience. And for them, that's the next guys for in the future after the starters that seniors graduate.
They're going to hand it off once again, going straight up the middle. Neely, he actually gets pushed by the pile. He wasn't quite to the ground just yet. We'll see where they mark him. I thought his knee might have been down a few yards back, but they're going to give that spot to him as he fell forward, and it's going to be about 3rd and 1.
Yeah, I think he did definitely get a favorable spot there, but the 3rd down and 1.
This one, the fake. Nani is going to keep it, but he's going to trip up in the backfield. Looks like he just didn't quite have his footing as they're going to mark him a couple yards back from where they just had the spot. And another 4th down, and Slippery Rock's going to give the ball right back to the Vulcans.
Yeah, he looked out of Nani looked out of sorts on that one. He fell down. He honestly, I think, got away with a unsportsmanlike conduct because he kind of flung the ball after in frustration after falling down. But how can you be frustrated with the performance he's put on today? But for Slippery Rock here, they're going to punt to, I believe that's Lomax, since I think Terry seems to be out for the game since getting injured on a hit he delivered. That's crazy. That's been the kind of day for the Vulcans. They blocked it again!
And another block punt for the Vulcans. It is picked up. He can't take it to the end zone, but how about that? Despite the struggles all day today, we turn it into the 4th quarter, and the Vulcans with 2 block punts.
That's going to start making future opponents for California scared and say, hey, we got to watch these guys. That was Fiore there at the block. I think if you want to give a player the game for California, it's Derek Fiore, both making tough plays running the ball, but also the special teams effort again. But now California, they can get some more points here to make it look not bad. Now we see James Harris come back onto the field here with Jimmy Wheeler. And here's another thing I'm looking for here. Jimmy Wheeler has yet to score a touchdown. Is this the drive?
And he's had numerous opportunities, too, on special teams that have been called back. So he is in the backfield. A little bit of a bobbled snap right there. They still get it to Wheeler. He finds the open hole. He cuts over to the other side, and there it is, Matt. He is going to run into the end zone just before the defender gets him.
Good for him.
For the touchdown.
Good for him. That is well-deserved for what he's done the past couple weeks. And he's got a nice ovation there from the crowd. And California, this is the respect they need. This is the good feeling they need. It's still, I mean, it's 49-21, but great for Wheeler to get his first career touchdown. Congratulations to Jimmy Wheeler's first career collegiate touchdown as a California Vulcan.
And these last 2 plays, these last 2 touchdowns have breathed life back into this team and into this fan base here with us in the bleachers. Brazil's kick is up and good for the extra point. And with 13:02 left in the game, the Vulcans have made it now 49-21 and made it look a little more like it should be with all the yards they've gained on offense.
Oh, absolutely. And then they get them made up there for special teams. Another offsides for Slippery Rock. I think Slippery Rock's trying to rush the kick to try to get a block of their own, but their players have been lined up off sides. But I mean, yeah, this is exactly what Cal needs. They're going to feel a little bit better. I think a lot of people, they're not going to feel good. They're not going to feel good with this performance no matter what. But they definitely feel a little bit better for the effort they've put forth here in the 4th quarter, at least.
And it may be a stretch to say this because with the last couple of offsides, it seems like Slippery Rock has been pressing to try to block one of those extra point attempts. Could they possibly be getting frustrated? They had dominated this entire game, and now all of a sudden, the Vulcans have put up 14 points within a matter of a few minutes. Even though they are winning by a lot, could they still be getting frustrated?
This definitely energy, and you got to believe that Coach Mahalik thinking of maybe taking his starters out, but now with Cal starting to get the touchdowns, it's like, wait, well, I can't do it yet. We got to close this game out here, even with it down still a 4-score game.
Just like my dad always used to say, it ain't over until it is over.
It's not. Until the zeros hit on the scoreboard.
So now Brazil is going to go ahead and kick this thing off down the field. Again, Scales is going to try to return this thing back. Vulcans trip him up. He still stays on his feet, fighting for extra yards. He escapes more tackles. A swarm of Vulcans finally comes in, and they're going to stop him down to the 35, but he was fighting after he got hit originally at the 20-yard line. He got 15 extra yards.
Yeah, I know that's both a great run there by Scales, but that's also California defense. Got to wrap them up. I mean, no excuses not to here, but with 12:51 left here, but credit Cal here for making it not. This is actually combined from the last 2 games here at Mahalik Thompson Stadium was 20 points that California scored. They've scored 21 today.
So again, looking on the positive so far, even in this game. Now Nania fakes the handoff. He has pressure. He had a defender right on him. He finally gets that pass complete to Dutrell, who's going to work his way forward for 5 yards of what looked like an almost broken play where Nani almost got sacked.
Just got it off at the last second there, and no one was really watching Dutrell, and let him get a couple yards out of nothing. That could have been bad here, but Slippery Rock, they've kind of laxed off a little bit. Now they're starting to get back to that high-tempo, quick-pace offense.
The Vulcans looking to make another stop on defense and go for another possible blocked punt. This one handed off up the middle. Neely is still in the backfield there. He pushes forward. We'll see where they spot the ball right here. And it looks like they are going to give him the first down on this one.
I don't think so. Oh, wait. They late change on the scoreboard. It still says third down. Oh, no, they will say first down. Okay, that's the scoreboard's fault.
A little confusion right there. They'll hand it off again to Neely up the middle. He finds a big hole right there. Falls forward 7 or 8 yards on the play, and this Rock offense gaining traction once again.
Yeah, it's just because I think they're starting to focus in again, and we're starting to see this is what Slippery Rock's offense, when they can turn on a switch, they can just fly down the field at will.
Just under, we're about 11:50 left in the game. Again, fake the handoff here. Nani is going to keep it. Couple of Vulcans defenders right there. And he does not pick up the first down. It looks like he'll be a yard short. So a big third down coming up here for the Vulcans defense.
Well, that'd be another great stop. That'd be another great stop if they can get this here. But you got to believe, I could see Nani trying to take it in by himself.
Here's a handoff. This time, Neely gets tripped up in the backfield, but he falls forward. He didn't have very far to go, and he's going to pick up the first down. So tough that it was only 3rd and 1 and not a 3rd and 6. Could have been even better for the Vulcans on that last play.
Yeah, he just let him Neely basically fall forward. There's a little time, not much yardage to get. To just let him get the yards he needed. And it wasn't anything tough about that. They had the push up front as well to get the first down.
And we talked about the 2 Slippery Rock running backs before Neely came in. They might have 100 yards. Well, Neely, he's working his way up with the totals.
He is.
And he'll get it again, once again, right here. Doesn't get very far, though, only about 1 or 2 yards. But, yeah, we talked about it earlier. Shamar Green and then as well Julian Durden. Probably both have 100 yards in this game. And now with Neely in there, he's picking up the yards as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, Cal's defense, remember, against Bloomsburg got gashed for almost 300 yards rushing.
There goes Neely trying to go to the far side. He almost tried to turn the corner, but he cut it inside. Finds that opening, and he's going to go for the first down almost near the 20 as the Rock is trying to get back into the red zone.
And they're just trying to silence the 14-0 run that California's had. And just going back to work. Neely's come out of the game. I believe Shamar Green is back in the game.
It's tough to really tell from our vantage point. It's going to be a fake to handoff anyway. Nania takes it. He takes a big hit on the way down. He only gains 1 or 2 yards maybe on that play.
And that was actually Durden that checked into the game there, but he was just trying to get anything possible. It sets them up for these manageable plays where they can easily get the first down.
And that was actually more yards than we thought he had gained. He gains 4 on that one. Bring up second down. And the Rock mostly sticking exclusively to the run, trying to waste down as much clock as they can. This time they hand it off. Durden escapes a tackle, keeps rolling, and he is going to get into the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Slippery Rock. As the rushing game is continuing to move down the field, and they are going to break 50 points against this Vulcans team.
Well, I get to say one of my favorite terms, that Slippery Rock, well, they got a 50 burger today. They got a 50 burger, and this is the second time this season they've gotten over 50 points in a game.
And they did come close last week, putting up 41 against Gannon. This time, though, they break that mark against the Vulcans defense that has not allowed it all season long. Huska's going to go in for that extra point. The kick is going up, and it is going to be good. So with 9:48 remaining in the game, the Rock has broken 50 points as they are now leading the Vulcans 56-21.
Yeah, it's Slippery Rock. It's good for Cal, but I mean, it breaks the spirit a little bit because it's like they stop them, and Slippery Rock just runs down the field and drops 50 on them. But they still have some time here. I saw Harris there on the last drive, but I'd give the ball to Jimmy Wheeler and let him work and pile up the yards.
Wheeler or even Fiore, being a senior,
yeah,
he's had a good game. You might as well let him even maybe take a couple of handoffs and gain some yards or catch some passes out of the backfield.
If Slippery Rock's not going to take their first team offense out, why should Cal? Slippery Rock's playing to score, and I think Cal should do the same.
Time will tell to see what the Vulcans will do here. But Matt, it is interesting. You wonder, after seeing those couple of blocked punts, can you imagine if this Vulcans defense and the team was able to force a few more punts? This game might be tilted the other way with the way the special teams is played.
Not just that, but also if the offense was able to cash in on all those drives, this could honestly be a score like we had with Mercyhurst, 59-49 or whatever it was. But it's just that Slippery Rocks cashed in when they every way, shape, and form they can. And when they need to, even with those drives, those 2 drives, they got stopped. They led the block punts when they needed the score. They needed to get a score to stop the small Cal momentum. They just run right down the field, make it look easy. There was I don't think no doubt in my mind that they were going to score on that drive.
Yeah, well, the way the ground game has worked for the Rock today, when they put it in the hands of their 3-headed monster at this point with the way Neely has played, everything seems to work out well. Husko with his big leg back to kick this thing off. He's going to send it down the field. It's not going to go out of the end zone this time. Wheeler gets it. Has a little trouble with it, but he gets it up the field. He tries to go through the middle of the field. Didn't try to really cut anywhere towards the sidelines, and he's going to get just past the 20-yard line. So the Vulcans start at about the 21 this time.
And we'll see if they use Keir. I believe I saw James Harris walking around with a baseball hat on, and he still does. So it looks like we're going to see Michael Keir come back out here. I think they put Harris in there just to close out that drive to make sure they get the points they need with 20 at the 20-yard line here. So we will see Michael Keir again. Looks like we're going to see a new running back in here for Cal. That is Aaron Bailey.
So the Vulcans are going to get some of their bench players and their second-string guys into the game. Bailey's going to get the handoff right off the bat. He's going to cut his way forward, and he's going to fall down, possibly with a first down run.
Yeah,
right off
first down.
Right off the bat, 10 yards.
That definitely is a first down, and I believe that's Aaron Bailey's first ever carry as a California Vulcan. So now we get to see new guys get more experience. You just got to feel great for them. You got to feel great that the circumstances lead to them in the game. But I mean, again, with the arsenal running backs, California is so deep at running back, it's unreal.
And another running back in the backfield there, number 43, Brandon Bowman as well. And you'll have to bear with us as we start to pick up some of these new numbers and some of these new players that are going out to the field. This one is going to be handoff. Once again, and he hit very hard on the play is Bailey. He was had nowhere to go on that one for the most part. That was just a huge hit.
Yeah. That was a Mack truck coming in. That truck's name was Tevin Williams. He's had an outstanding game on defense, but you can still see Martin out there. It's just they're still working against his California offense here, especially if they can have success moving down the field. A lot of the second stringers out there, that's got to give them confidence that they're working against Slippery Rock's first team defense that's still out there.
On that play, they just didn't have any success, unfortunately, though. Second down and 15 now. And we're going to get some flags on the play before the run was even off. This may be a false start play as we see the Vulcans starting to walk backwards. And that one was on number 8, Tom Green, who is in there, wide receiver.
Yeah, and they were going to hand the ball out there to Jordan McCray, who's the redshirt sophomore from local Connellsville High School. And that's another guy. He does have a couple carries in his Vulcan career.
They're going to hand this one off right here. That one isn't going to go very far. That is McCray once again. And we didn't have really good footing there on the turf, so that's going to bring up now third down here for the Vulcans.
Yeah, third down, and looks like they're going to call it 15 or so, because I don't think McCray got a single yard on that play. And let's see if they go to the air here and see how good Keir can throw the ball.
Yeah, Keir had a couple of pass attempts on that last drive that he was in, a couple of drives that go, and he had a couple of incompletions on it. And he is back to pass right here. He's going to throw it down the field deep. He has a man open, and it is caught right there. Running down the field, and he is going to get tripped up. That is Smorey, I believe, with a huge reception. So Keir getting the opportunity to bomb it down the field. Does a fantastic job.
How about that throw? That was great. That's one of the best throws we've seen all day. And Smorey there, even more elusive, throwing a guy off. Just got tripped up there by John Congalos to save the touchdown. But it's great to see. It's great to see them move down the field. They have another chance to score.
Yeah, Keir just floated that right into the breadbasket of Smorey.
Do put that any better in what he did.
And he has two sidecars still with him in the backfield right here. He's not going to hand it off. He's going back to pass again. Another floater towards the end zone.
Yeah.
There was interference on the play, and they're going to call it. Smorey got pushed off of right around the 2-yard line.
They'll call that on Titus Howard. That's not the first time Howard's been called today. He was the one that they put Scott on for most of the game, along with Alphon Cook. But Titus Howard's been playing tight defense, and he's again. I mean, you've got a guy that was at Pitt. You got to believe he's D1 talent out there, playing D2. But for that, it's just good for Smorey to keep it together here. And that moves California. They're going to be it's going to be first and goal, I believe, at the 4-yard line.
Yeah, that was a 15-yard penalty, and that was almost right where the spot of the foul happened. So the Vulcans get a good chunk of yardage, and you're right. They have a big opportunity again. They can score right here and make it even a little more, at least close on the scoreboard.
Could see some other firsts here if they score by some of these players.
This time, the ball is going to be handed off. And that was Bailey on the play. He didn't really get anywhere. That line stopped him right there. So pretty much no gain on the play.
They said he got no gain. I thought he got at least something with the forward progress. So they'll mark him at the 3. But again, we could see possibly Aaron Bailey get his first career rushing touchdown. We could see Michael Keir get his first career touchdown pass. This would be, again, another heartwarming thing to see.
And Keir in the backfield. He still does have Bailey back there with him. No handoff this time. Pressure's coming. He's going to throw it towards the corner. It's over everybody, said. That was number 20. Alphon Cook on the coverage right there. He was trying to pick it off. But that's an incompletion. It's going to be 3rd down and goal now.
Yeah, he tried to fade there to Tom Green. Tom Green's a pretty big, pretty tall guy. They list him at 6'4". And he was trying to, but just a little too tall that time. He's getting covered by Alphon Cook.
And now we saw McCray come off the field right here as the Vulcans are going to have one running back in the backfield now. That's going to be Bailey back there with Keir. And Keir back to pass. Pressure's coming. It is tipped at the line. That one possibly could have been a completion if it wasn't tipped right there. That was intended for McCauley on the play.
Yeah, he was looking, and Fulmore was there to finish that one off, but Keir was under pressure here. Vulcan's obviously going to go for it on 4th and 3.
Yeah, they are deep into Slippery Rock territory, so they got nothing to lose at this point. Might as well try to get one of these guys, possibly their first touchdown as a Vulcan. As Bailey's still in the backfield with Keir. 3 receivers on the near side, 1 to the far side. Keir looks over towards the near side, towards the middle of the end zone. In the back of the end zone, it is incomplete. That one was also intended for McCauley. He got a couple of fingers on it, wasn't able to haul it down. But what an attempt right there by McCauley.
Yeah, that would have been sick. But story of the day, California deep, can't push the ball in. It's even with the game out of reach. It's a good play there by Smorey to set it up, and then once they hit the 3-yard line, they couldn't move forward.
Yeah, the missed opportunity again there for the Vulcans offense. They did a good job once again moving down the field. It still is very promising to see, though. Keir, he's got good touch on the football.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. That is good for the future. And we're going to see, for the first time today, Zach Newsock finally entered the game with Durden next to him here. So Slippery Rock starting to employ a lot of their second-string men out there.
This one's going to be a handoff. Durden's going to fall forward for a few yards as the Rock continue to just rush this football. There's about 6:20 remaining on the clock as they're just trying to wind this thing down. I'm sure both teams, for the most part, try to do that.
Yeah, I think California just wants to get out of here. They just want to get out of here without giving any more points up. And with Slippery Rock, I mean, they just have so much depth. And with Shamar Green getting injured against East Stroudsburg in week 2, they could have folded. But you got next man up, Durden, 400 yards in a couple weeks. It's just the talent that is endless. It's talent. They have the most overall talent in the PSAC West, maybe the entire PSAC. Slippery Rock does, but they just need to harness it.
And they're going to hand it off again right here. Good stop in the backfield, though, the Vulcans. Making sure that run went absolutely nowhere. Durden dropped in the backfield for about 2 or 3 yard loss.
And that'll be Jordan Bowman coming up there with the very impressive play. And that's just what Jordan Bowman can do. Second team All-American, D2.com. He was named by them in the preseason. He's that next guy of great safeties that California's had. Rontez Miles. You wouldn't even go further than that. Tommy Campbell and Dewey McDonald. Bowman's that next guy, and there's one thing that California can hit the money with recruiting is those safeties.
It's been a power for the Vulcans over the years. This one, Newsock going towards the sideline. It is going to be just out of the reach right there. That's a new receiver as well we haven't seen today. Carnell Harley was the intended receiver, and so Slippery Rock going to go 3 and out here as they're backed up deep in their own territory, and Vulcans getting the ball back with 5:06 remaining here in the game.
And let's see if they block it again, get the trifecta. But it's funny, the last time California blocked the punt, and I'm looking up the last time they looked at it in the nice game notes that our wonderful sports information director, Matt Kiefer, does every single week. The last time they blocked the punt was Lockhaven last year by Jordan McCants, and they got 2 today. And by the way, as we have a timeout here, I'd like to pitch the Vulcan football show hosted by our director, Gary Smith. And you can see sports information director Matt Kiefer on the show as well. They'll be breaking down the highlights of this game. Take a look at the highlights from last year's IUP Cal Coal Bowl game that Cal won. And then basically a preview for next week for the Coal Bowl. And an early score update from Greensburg. IUP up 16-0 on Seton Hill.
So IUP possibly going to be rolling into that Coal Bowl matchup next week against the Vulcans with a W. And again, just a heads up, that game next week for the Vulcans is going to be at IUP at 6 p.m. So if anybody would like to come out and catch that game, it's going to be a big, another rivalry game for the Vulcans.
An hour. It's only about an hour and change away, so come on up. And it's a decent crowd that we had today come up here for Slippery Rock, so I credit the Vulcan community for that. But remember in week 1, IUP blew that huge lead to Kutztown. They could have really just went in the tank, but they do get this punt off here. But IUP really took steam after that. That woke them up.
And Lomax is going to pick this punt up after it bounced around for quite a bit. He's going to be tackled down just on the other side of the 50-yard line in Slippery Rock territory.
And we'll talk about that rivalry, Dame, in the Coal Bowl. It doesn't get any bigger than that. I mean, you could say this is Ohio State and Michigan right here. Let's call that Auburn, Alabama, what Cal U and IUP does with the Coal Bowl. The Coal Pail Trophy made up by 2 brothers. One went to Cal, one went to IUP. They started in 2009. Cal's won every game since with the Coal Pail Trophy except 2013, which was at Indiana.
Yes, the Vulcans, especially after this game here today, look to rebound in a series that they tend to dominate for the most part, at least since 2009. This one's going to be a handoff right here to Bailey. He tries to cut the corner. He gets a decent chunk of yardage, but there is a flag on the play. And this may bring that run right back.
I think they're going to call receiver Jordan Danridge here on the hold, which I think is actually they'll call it on 75 for California. That is
Austin Jacobs.
Austin Jacobs. He got called for the whole year. But yeah, we see a lot of second stringers in that. Pretty much the entire line, the receivers. Bailey's kind of taking over the feature back here. Let's see if I'd like to see Michael Keir throw some more.
Yeah, give him some pass attempts, but I'm sure, especially late in a game like this, they may just still stick to the running game for the most part. Give some of the full complement of running backs that the Vulcans do have, give them some experience here. And Bailey seems to be the feature back in that right now, but they are going to go back to pass. Keir going to do another floater down the field. Again, wide open right there with the completion. And that one is to number 8, Tom Green. We've seen him out on the field quite a bit with the offense today. That time getting a pretty decent gain.
He's been on the money. Again, he floated that right where only Tom Green could catch the ball, and it's impressive to see what Keir said. Keir is from Philly. He's from Roman Catholic and played in a very tough Philly Catholic league. It's one of the best, not just in the state, but the entire country. So he's battle-tested for sure.
And this time they're going out of a deep I formation. McCray is going to be the running back this time. He's going to go forward probably for about 3 or 4 yards, getting down to the 25-yard line. But, hey, Vulcans, with just under 4 minutes left in this game, one last chance to possibly put it into the end zone.
And also with Jordan McCray as well, his brother Dylan McCray is a lineman on the team, so it's kind of a little family matters coming to the Vulcans.
Now we'll see the Vulcans going to go out of the shotgun formation. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 towards the near side of the field. Keir is going to hand this off. Up the middle right there. McCray is going to find an opening. He's going to try for the end zone, and he falls just short. Slippery Rock's defenders just caught up with him before he was able to stretch across the line. So the Vulcans down to the 1 yard line.
Good looking run there by Jordan McCray. You got to believe he's like, oh, it's so close to my first touchdown as a Vulcan. Let's see if we can get it here.
And he's going to hand it off. They go to a hurry-up offense this time, though. Nowhere to go. He's going to lose just about 3 yards on the play.
Slippery Rock saw that run coming from the start of it, and they were just waiting. They put a lot of guys in the box there, and they stacked it across California's line to get McCray wrapped up. They got to get a touchdown here.
Now second down here for the Vulcans. Second down and goal. And the Vulcans may try to switch it up a little bit here instead of just trying to directly run it through that tough defensive line for Slippery Rock that has had a heck of a game against the Vulcans offense today. Just about 6 seconds left on the play clock. Vulcans gonna have to hurry up and snap it here soon. They are gonna hand it off though. McCray trying to turn the corner. He is forced down though at about the 2 yard line. Credit number 54, Bishop Gethers, got in the backfield that time and got a hand on McCray to slow him down.
McCray just pushed ahead forward here. We'll see where they spot him at the 1. So you got they have 2 chances to make the end zone here. But it's disheartening if they can go to the goal, basically the goal line the last 2 drives and not get anything.
So a big third down right here again, the Vulcans. This is 4 down territory at this point. You might as well go for it. They'll hand it off once again this time. McCray is going to get pushed by his linemen. They are still going to say he did not have the momentum to get into the end zone, and they're going to mark him at probably about the 1 yard line. I see a referee's foot is almost on that goal line.
How close can you get? I honestly thought he was in. I thought they'd give him the spot, but wow. Now Bailey comes into the game at running back, and they 4th down here and goal. Even just put Kira on the line and just try to maybe do a quarterback sneak or something.
Well, the Vulcans, a little confusion. Sideline trying to communicate with the offense right now. Just under 10 seconds left on the play clock. Kier gets the snap. He hands it off to Bailey, who goes nowhere. So the Vulcans aren't able to capitalize and get the touchdown after getting down to the 1 yard line, and that'll pretty much put a nail in the coffin to any offensive production the Vulcans are going to try to get today.
Fitting end of the game there. Fitting end of the game. And it's sad to see, but it's just not been the Vulcans' day. It's not been the Vulcans' day.
It has not been exactly the best game for the Vulcans, but they did at least get a couple of more points up on the board here in the second half. And unfortunately, they just aren't able to punch a couple of touchdowns in near the end. And you just got to feel right now, especially from McCray, trying to get that touchdown.
I thought he was in. I honestly thought he was in. He didn't get the spot, but I mean, at 2 straight drives, it could have 35 points on the board right here. Now Slippery Rock, I mean, they can't take a knee here. They're right on the 2 yard line.
They're just going to go ahead and try to push their way forward a little bit. That looks like it was Newsock just keeping the ball and just pushing for a couple of yards, and now they may or may not just kneel on these last couple of plays to finish it off now with a little bit of space.
And they just plowed forward here. They're under a minute, and for California, I think a lot of the players are just saying thank you. This is the game is almost over. But this has been what a show. Slippery Rock, they look ahead. Mercyhurst, IUP at home. That's going to be a huge game the way IUP's playing. And then they got a matchup with Clarion to close out the PSAC West schedule November 7th. If both teams continue to have success, that could be the battle. That could be for the PSAC championship. What a story it would be for Clarion. As Slippery Rock runs this down here, I believe they took a timeout to get down to 30 seconds.
And now if you are the Vulcans, you look forward. You go back in, check out the tape. You practice hard this week coming up, and you got the big matchup in the Coal Bowl next week because it's a rebound game at this point.
You got to be hungry. It's rivalry. It's even bigger. It's even bigger rivalry than this one, honestly, in my opinion. But you can't just give up from this. It'd be like we can't compete with anyone. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You beat the defending CIAA champion. You beat Shippensburg, and you beat a decent Seton Hill team that knocked off Slippery Rock. This team can compete. We saw today those numbers. They get in all those times in Slippery Rock territory and failing. They just needed something. They just couldn't cash in. There's potential on this team. There's too much talent on this team to just fall by the wayside here.
And they will get the chance to showcase that talent and also try to take advantage of a couple of better opportunities hopefully next week. against IUP. And right here, Slippery Rock going in victory formation. They are going to kneel the football, and that is pretty much going to end it. And Matt, what do you think the Vulcans got to do? They just got to be ready for IUP next week.
Forget about it. Wipe this from your memory. Focus on IUP.
And that'll do it here for us here at Mahalik Thompson Stadium here in Slippery Rock. The final score, the Rock beat the California Vulcans 56-21. For Damon Matson, Matt Hagee, and our crew, we thank you for joining us, and have a good rest of the day, everybody.